Truth, justice, and big sales. I don't know what it is, but every time I start my program off, I'm usually in a pretty decent mood. And then, unfortunately, I talked to Xander. And Xander still, from this past Sunday, why'd you go light on John? I go, I didn't freaking go light on John. Hey, what's it to people, man? I just want to be liked. I think it's my great personality. As a former program director would say, Sills, you got a Trump delivery, and every guy doesn't really bite into that. And I'm like this, fuck it. But here, by the way, powered by our friends at BetUS for the next 4 hours, please make sure you check out the website. We so appreciate it. By the way, first 15 minutes of the program are the most essential when it comes to our likes. Please hit that bad puppy. We so appreciate you coming here. You could go anywhere you want, but you come here each and every single day. I can't do this show without you, man. I'd be crazy to, it's funny. I used to think I could do my radio show just by myself, and it was a one-man band like the guy that sits outside of, Wells Fargo. He's got the trumpet, the tambourine. He's got the drum. I used to think I could do that. No way, man. We got a great team, with Xander, Big Joe, you. Without it, I can't do it, dude. Super chats all go to the top, as we always say. It is Cowboy Eagle week. Okay? Look at this, man. J-Mac makes Sills apologize like J-Ful. Nobody made me do dick. Nobody's ever made me do shit except my aunt and my wife. Okay? I did it because I want to have a nice friendship. What's wrong with that, man? Hey, I just want to be liked. I have no friends. I just want to be liked. Look at Senor. Holy shit, soft-ass Sills. Soft-ass Sills. Look at LJ, man, being a troll that he is. Jalen is one of 5 quarterbacks to have a 4-game stretch of over 70% completion percentage against Lehigh University. Woo! Wow! He's played bums. The Eagles have been playing Temple the last 4 weeks. Give me a break. Temple. Empty calorie stats for your boy Hurts. By the way, I'm going to say it here. You ready? Dual threat. We haven't had this in a long time. Oh, even my own company. But that's okay. That's okay. We overcome that shit. Got to do it again one more time. Ready? Dual threat. Dual threat. Your quarterback needs a rest. Who's he, Anthony Richardson? Jalen Hurts left practice so that he could powder his nose because he's a little tired. Dual threat. Dual threat. Legitimate quarterbacks don't miss practice because they're tired. They're tired. Jalen Hurts is tired. Get him a blanket. The Eagles rested him. Who's he, Barkley? Hey, I get Barkley. Oh, that's right. Dual threat. Dual threat. Hey, by the way, it is Cowboy and Eagle week. Since 2000, it's funny. I heard Johnny Mack saying the Cowboys ain't shit. Nobody's really good in that team right now because they're all injured. Well, since 2000, the Eagles have a 25-23 advantage over the Cowboys. 2-game advantage. 25 wins, 23 losses. So no matter if a team is good or bad, that series is always competitive, no matter what it is, because you see them and it's a common opponent. I know you think you're going to roll in there to Arlington and kick the shit out of them, just like you thought you were going to kick the shit out of the Jags. What happened? Last possession game, and you almost lost it because of your bullshit coach. That's right. Hit the like button. I'm here to give you reality. That's what we do. By the way, my MVP vote would never go to dual threat. Well, the other guy in Baltimore would, because he's putting up an iconic season. Iconic. I want to show you something here. Here's what your offense has done against shitty teams. So get this. LJ's cherry picking the last 4 shitty teams that you've played. Let me give you a little reality check here. Where are we now? Here we go. That's not it. Here it is. Right now, your boy Barkley is on pace. Jalen on his Joel needing rest. Oh, by the way, Josh Allen has 17 fucking touchdown passes. Your boy's got 4. Your boy's got 4. It's like 10. I think he's 17th in the NFL in touchdown passes. Allen's 4th. Oh, don't forget the rushing. Yeah, because that matters. So Barkley's on pace for 1,966 yards and 13 touchdowns at 5.9 a clip and 334 carries. Most carries in his entire career. By the way, Josh Allen also has 2 picks and 17 touchdown passes. How you doing? Jalen Hurts is on pace for 3,770 passing yards, 21 TD passes, and a 102.4 quarterback rating. Okay. A.J. Brown, 49 catches, 944, and 6 TDs. I do like the per catch yardage, though. 19.3, which is insane great. And Devontae Smith, 74 catches, 1,005 yards, 9 TDs, 13.5. What's this all tell you here? What does this tell you on the type of seasons that your offensive people are having? You're winning because of one man, Saquon Barkley. That's it. You're not winning because of your quarterback. You're winning because of that dude you acquired from the Giants. The New York Giants. How in the world do you look your fan base and your roster in the face with any kind of certainty that sends to them that you know what you're doing? It is unbelievable how great that guy is having a season, Saquon Barkley. I mean, he's dwarfing every other guy in that huddle. Every guy in that huddle. Oh, and by the way, Hurts is on pace for 173 carries, 644. And this guy's going to have as many rushing touchdowns this year as passing touchdowns. Yeah, because, hey, elite quarterbacks, that's what always happens. Lamar Jackson's on pace for 40 TD passes and 6 touchdown runs. That's what he's on pace for. And 4,500 yards and 1,100 yards rushing. That's dual threat elite. That's dual threat elite. Hurts is on pace for a nice season. That's who he is, though. I told you, if you can have that guy throw for around 30, by the way, at the beginning of the year, Vegas had him at around 3,600 yards and 21 touchdowns. Those guys aren't wrong. Xander had him at 4,600 yards passing. And what was it? 57 touchdown passes or some shit I can't remember. I mean, everyone thought this guy was going to blow up the passing game, but he's not going to, because that's not what they need. They are an effective football team running the ball, and that's why they're second in the league. And that's pretty much why they're 6-2. They're not 6-2 because of their passing game. They're 20th. They don't have a balanced attack. They have since the bye, but it's against shitty teams. And again, you can beat shitty teams by doing what? Running the ball. Well, there's going to come a time where you're going to have to pass the ball. Abe says, I believe I said 4,234 touchdowns. Dude, he's so remotely far from that, Abe, he won't even sniff that. He'll be lucky to get 3,800 passing yards and 22 touchdown passes this year. Hurts is on pace right now again. I mean, look, the touchdown totals are awesome. But again, you're going to have to win a game, and you're going to have to win significant games in the passing game. Can they do that? That'll be the big key. And will they be healthy enough to be able to do that? We're going to talk about Sirianni here in a second. We'll do our Abe. I love what Abe says. Our Thursday grades for the Jags game. We will do that. I want to start because we're hitting on it now. Oh, and by the way, Mark Farzetta at 5:30. He'll be with us. Farzi will be with us at 5:30. Xander will be with us at 3:30. Please hit the like button. All right, let's do this. What Eagle can the team ill afford to lose with an injury? And get this here. Sills, I'll take wins over stats any day. Stats in the National Football League, or that's how you run your football team, dude. It's called analytics. They're not stats. They're analytics. You make an entire game plan off of analytics, Sinbad. So wait a minute. I'll take wins. You put your game plan together, and statistics are actually trends. Okay? You put a game plan together, and Julian, that's his entire football job. Do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button. Super chats go to the top. Hey, Big Sills. You keep praising Allen and Jackson because they don't have anybody. They all have statistical accolades, but if they don't win a Super Bowl, it's all about nothing. Not true. They play in a tougher conference with better quarterbacks. I mean, when you get into the postseason and you have to play in the AFC, you've got to go through Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, most likely Herbert, and you've got to go through some really great coaches in the AFC. When you get to the AFC Championship game, it's most likely going to be, again, Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. When you get to the AFC Championship game, it's going to be Jared Goff and potentially Jalen Hurts. First off, you've got to beat Baker Mayfield. Let me know when you do that. Last two have gone to the quarterback with the most touchdowns in the NFL right now. Do you know that? Do you know Baker Mayfield has more touchdowns than any player in the league right now? Yes, 25. He's got the most touchdowns of any player in the league, does Baker Mayfield. Mayfield's actually gotten better since he left Cleveland. That's not a shocker. And by the way, I like Kevin Stefanski. Okay? Get this. What's this there? Sills, we could beat the Bucs if we play them again because they're missing some players. True. Yes. That's right. You're right, Sills. Flowers likely and Henry sucks. No. He didn't have those guys last year when he won home field advantage and won 14 games. You're right, Akbar. They've helped him out this year a little bit more. Last year, he had none of that. No 1,000-yard receiver, no 1,000-yard back, won home field advantage, and still won 14 freaking games and an MVP. You're right. How you doing? And Andrews was out after week 10. It sounds like an excuse to me. If Josh Allen is him, he shouldn't matter. Excuse. Well, wait a minute. Your guy has less excuses because he has more. Your guy has less excuses. Shit, Josh Allen at least has nobody up there. You've got a $200 million offensive huddle. How you doing? The guy that I think that football team can ill afford to lose is Saquon Barkley. Your offense is now going through him. You lose him, it's over. Because you don't have anybody that's going to carry the mail after him. Kenny Gainwell is not even close or remotely close to DeAndre Swift or Miles Sanders. You lose Barkley, you lose 2,000 offensive rushing and total yards. Barkley's going to go over 2,000 total yards and most likely hang around 20 touchdowns this year. You can't lose him. You cannot lose him. If you lose Saquon Barkley, your season's over. Over. I mean, usually you say the quarterback if you lose, your season's over. But if Kenny Pickett came in and turned around and handed the ball off in the NFC, I still think the Eagles will win 10 games. Just keep handing it off like you are. 20 attempts, 45 rushing attempts. I can get anybody to do that. Anybody. And you know the difference between Hurts and the guy in Detroit? That guy throws for 4,500 yards a year. Last 7 years, he's thrown for over $4,000 6 times. And over 30 TDs. Dual threat. Hit the like button. By the way, okay? I think the carries are starting to add up on him too. Hey, by the way, I do not believe Barkley, if they keep running him the way they are, will make the rest of the year because he's never done it. Now, he's got better talent around him in the offensive line, for sure, and they're going to get Mulata back. Okay? I mean, he might, but aren't you concerned again about usage by the playoffs? They handed the ball to him 27 times. Sills, but those carries, look how little contact Barkley gets. That old line is something else. Okay? Yes. Well, here. Let's do this. So Saquon Barkley's on pace right now for 334 total carries this year. He's never had anything closely remotely in his entire career. I think he had 2 years ago. And by the way, his body's not built for that. The guy in Baltimore carries the ball as an average of 330 carries a year. Since he's been the focal point when he was in Tennessee after his first 2 years, he's carried the ball around 330 times. So let's take a look at this. Barkley's averaging about 20 carries a game. That's not awful. Especially with contact on what you guys says. Get this here. Sills acts like the Eagles' offensive line is trash. Who said that? You've had 2 Pro Bowl running backs the last 2 years. And that really is indicative of what the old line has done. Who said that? It's a stupid comment. Made up. Fake news. Cowboy game would go easy. You don't need to beat yourself up for the victory. That's right, Forrest. Think that way. Then you'd be playing a game like the Jags. Sills trolls us. No, Sills facts us. That's what we do here. Yeah, do you think we should start playing him more in key NFC games like the Commanders and less in games like the Ravens and Steelers? That's a great comment, Samuel. Detroit has a 7-1 record, right? You guys are sitting at 6-2 and you're battling right now for home field. My rest is going to be based on how I am in the NFC East and how Detroit is winning or losing. Who does Detroit have this week? They've got Houston. They drop that game to Houston and you win and you have the same record as them, I might go another month playing him the way I'm playing him and start tailing off at the back end. Like, why would I put him in a Steeler game when I got Washington, I think, on the opposite side of that? I think you've got to start looking at, I'm not saying load management, but I think you've got to be smart here. Now, look, I do like what John McMullen said about how they're playing him right now and how they're practicing him. He's got no practice, but there's no question. Saquon Barkley's in the conversation of the top 5 players in the league. I brought this point up to you before. If you take all the quarterbacks out of the conversation about MVP, where would you put Barkley in the MVP conversation in the league right now? Where would you put him? I would put Henry, Barkley, TJ Watt, Dexter Lawrence. Okay? But Barkley's in the top. I mean, you can make the argument it's him and Henry. Non-quarterback, he's probably the second most valuable player in the league. Non-quarterback. So we're talking about a guy having a freaking incredibly... Dude, he's on pace for 1,900 yards. This blows away anything he's ever done. But here, get this. And do I think Saquon cares about that? No, I do not. Let me tell you something. Here's something that you have to look at if you're Barkley and your legacy. We brought something up about him being a Hall of Fame guy. He doesn't have Hall of Fame numbers. You put a couple Super Bowls around it, now you're starting to talk about Terrell Davis shit. Terrell Davis made it to the Super Bowl for really 2 reasons. He was a 2,000-yard rusher, and he won 2 Super Bowls and an MVP. Well, 3, and he got hurt. You could start making the comment, hey, how much of an impact was that guy on the Eagles, helping Jalen Hurts and those guys? Hey, by the way, John Elway winning those Super Bowls, I look at John Elway going he was the caboose on those teams. He wasn't the catalyst on those teams. Look at those years he had when Terrell Davis was leading those Bronco teams. He was the star on that team. It wasn't. Dude, Elway was over the hill, and he was on the back 9 of his career. I mean, he was the caboose on those Denver Bronco teams. Terrell Davis was the engine. I mean, early on when he was losing those Super Bowls, he was the catalyst because they really didn't have anything on that football team. Okay? Here's Vincent. Thanks for coming aboard, Vincent. Please hit the like button. Seals, do you believe that Hurts can't play like he did in 22? No, I think he is playing like he did in 22, but I think his passing's gotten better. I think, hey, he keeps this up. Vincent, I'm going to tell you something here, Vincent. Let me put this out there to you. I thought about this prior to coming on here today. Hurts gets to another Super Bowl, win or lose. Now you're starting to talk about somebody going to multiple championship games. That's going to change the dynamic on that guy. That's going to change the dynamic in how you see him. No matter if he wins it or loses it. You get to a championship game, you start saying, well, I'll tell you what, man. I mean, Jim Kelly made it to the Hall of Fame. And I know he got to 4 straight Super Bowls and he lost them all. But no one would ever say that Kelly's not one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play in pro football history. And for the record, you'll never see a team go to 4 Super Bowls or win 4 AFC championship games, ever. No one's going to do that. Kansas City right now is on the cusp of it. Can you imagine that? You're still a year away from what Buffalo did. The difference is what Kansas City is doing is winning them, which is crazy. And I like how they're handling him and practicing him. I do. All right. Yes, I'd like to see Gainwell and Shipley get some more carries. I would. Sills, did I not tell you that Mark Holmes was hurt because of you? Kiss my ass. We have to run the ball versus the Cowgirls. Their rush defense blows. It's absolutely. I'll tell you this, Abe. There's nothing that Dallas does defensively except rush the passer. By the way, am I right when I say this? Did I hear that Micah Parsons is back for this week? I'm going to talk a little bit about what Jalen Hurts had to say, too. I think it was yesterday. Did I hear that Parsons is back this week? Seals, I don't think Detroit will drop a game, so I think we should fight for the 2 seed. We'll see. Remember something about Detroit versus you. You're 2 years removed from a Super Bowl. Detroit's 2 years removed from being horrible. There's a difference. Teams that have been good, the advantage you have over Detroit is simple. You've done it longer than them. You've been better over the Nick Sirianni. And by the way, I'm not going back 1,000 years. I'm going back in the Sirianni era here. That's all I'm talking. You've had a better go of it than Dan Campbell has. Now, there was more lifting to do in Detroit. And, well, Sirianni did inherit a 4-win team. But organizationally, they've always been better since 2000. But there was more lifting in Detroit. Brad Holmes, they had to get rid of, I think his name was Bob Quinn, the former general manager of the place. And they had to get rid of had to get rid of him, and they put Brad Holmes in there. And they've absolutely hit on almost every one of their draft picks. And really, too, I think Zadarius Smith is going to actually bring something to the table. And personally, depending on if that guy has a productive year this year, Zadarius Smith and Aiden Hutchinson as your perimeter guys next year also, you might have a 2-year window with that look. And I would still go out and get another edge rusher if I'm Detroit, and maybe another corner or linebacker. Seals, they got us in the wild card. And Washington's 2 seed, our focus is to sweep the Cowboys and at least win one with Washington. Right now, you're a wild card. That's right. You're in the wild card game right now, which I think that makes you a 5 seed, if I'm not mistaken. Division champions all get a home field game, and I think that makes you a 5 seed, if I'm not mistaken right now. You're not a 2 seed. Wild cards are not 2 seeds. Division winners are going to have the priority because they get the home field. Let me take a look at that just to double check. I want to make sure I'm not shit talking to you on where you are right now. And by the way, we're doing this because of Barkley, how to rest him. Because I do think you have to think about that. And I think you have to start looking at that right now. Let's see here. Lions are the 1 seed right now. Commanders are 2. Falcons are 3. Cardinals are 4. Vikings are 5. Eagles are 6th. And the Packers are 7. For shits and giggles in the AFC, Chiefs are 1. Bills are 2. Steelers are 3. Texans are 4. Ravens are 5. Chargers are 6. Broncos are 7. So currently right now, you're the 6th seed. And you would be playing right now, if you were, because the Lions would get the bye, you would be playing the Falcons again. The Packers would be playing the Commanders. And the Vikings and Cardinals would be playing right now. And if the playoffs were to begin today, Broncos would play the Bills. Chargers would play the Steelers, Ravens, and Texans. The Ravens right now, believe it or not, are in the 5 hole because they lost that Cleveland game. And the Steelers are sitting at 6-2 right now because of that Cleveland loss. It shows you right now, again, a lot of things are still up in the air here. And right now, you're the 6th seed right now. Beat the Falcons for a second. You lost to the Falcons, dog. You didn't beat them. We beat the Falcons a second time. Oh, you're saying you would beat the Falcons for a second time. Well, hopefully you're healthy. That's going to come down to it a lot, too. Okay? That's going to come down to it a lot. For you to get to 2-hole, you got to win the East. That Washington game is going to be a critical series for you. Absolutely. Okay? And by the way, Baltimore, games in the NFC right now, I think because of what Washington has, I think Washington's got a better conference record than what the Eagles do. You will beat Washington? You sure about that? Okay. You couldn't beat Tampa Bay, and you couldn't beat Atlanta. Well, we didn't have all our guys. Well, fuck, dude. That's part of the league. Can't cry about losing players. You can only cry about losing games. You may not have both your wide receivers this week. You think that's a problem for you against Dallas? Do you think you could beat Dallas with the wide receiving core of Dotson and whomever, Wilson, this weekend? I think that'd be quite a chore. Devontae shows up on the injury list. Okay. Was it hamstring? And AJ still game situation, right? Game day. We'll find out if he plays. You feel concerned going into the Dallas game that your two premier wideouts at least will be banged up going into that game? Force goes like this. Dallas is not good. Neither is Jacksonville. How in the world did Jacksonville stay in that game? You're going to go Nick. Okay. This all plays together here. Coaching, defense, offense. Every week's a different challenge. You're going to have an injury challenge. Cowboys are going to have a talent challenge. Same way the Jags had a talent issue last week and a health issue. You're starting to see that too. This is why we're talking about Barkley. Get this. Fluke fumble, part of the game. Stop. That's not an excuse. Injuries and refereeing are not excuses. It happens to every team, every Sunday, every week. Overcome it. Hey, we lost by a bad ref call. Okay. And here's a question here. Ask yourself this, Cosmo. Does he want to play? You know, my problem with Dallas is, do they want to play? I don't know what's going on in Dallas. I think the problem you have in Dallas is that everybody, without saying it, has given up. You'll know immediately if Dallas wants to play Philly. I think you'll know in the first 10 minutes if they want to play, because you'll get a sense. Personally, I have a problem with their attitude. I'm talking to Cowboys. The Eagles have a lot to play for, and they hate that team. And if the Dallas Cowboys aren't ready to put their chin straps and their mouthpieces in, they're going to get fucking steamrolled. And I do believe that. I do. Is Parsons playing this week? But dude, Micah Parsons, I have absolutely no respect for that guy. His, this fraternizing and how much he loves Philly, and you play on the Dallas Cowboys, nobody would know who your freaking name is. They barely know who Myles Garrett is because he plays in Cleveland. Nobody would know who he is. I disagree with John McMullen. Watch him against the run. Tony Casillas yesterday told you plain and simple the problem that he has. I want to rush the passer, and I want to get tackles for losses. I don't want to play the run. Well, I'm not paying you $35 million then to do what you want to do. He is a selfish player. I don't like him at all, and I would not want him on my team. I'll take a guy like Zack Baun any day over him. Someone goes, Sills, but he's better. No, he's not. He's better when he wants to be better. Zack Baun plays his ass off every single game. He may not be the most talented guy, but I can count on him. I can't count on Parsons. I can't. Sills, but Parsons is way more talented. I think that's wasted talent. That guy plays when he feels like it and when he wants to. He doesn't play to be great. He doesn't. And the Dallas Cowboys star has clouded the judgment on many of their players. How about this? Let's do this when it comes to Micah Parsons. Okay? Let's just do this. Would you make him the top paid defensive player in the league? And when you watch a guy like Myles Garrett, how about this, Xander? Even when you watch that Josh Allen in Jacksonville or Trayvon Walker, do you see that guy playing like that on every NFL weekend? Do you see those guys playing like the guys I just mentioned? Josh Allen's a better player than him, but he plays in Jacksonville. Who would you take? Josh Allen, the pass rusher in Jacksonville, or Micah Parsons? Yeah, that's a great comment. That's a great comment. They look like the 1-7 Eagles, the Cowboys. Yes. I would take Josh Allen over Micah Parsons. He doesn't want to play the run. So you know what? A guy who has that mentality, my God almighty, no wonder Lane kills him. Lane's probably on the sidelines talking to Jeff Stoutland going, let's run this guy over. Let's soften him up like a piece of meat. And by the fourth quarter, this guy's Velcro to me. Lane owns him. I mean, he owns him. By the way, I asked one more time, is he playing this weekend? I hope he is, because he'll be a non-factor. Okay? Yeah, how about this? African Surf goes, he might be better with the Eagles. So do you want a guy telling your defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, hey, Vic, I'm not playing the run, and I'm just pass rushing, and I'm getting TFLs? Didn't you have that with Reddick? And isn't that why Howie got rid of him? Isn't that why he got rid of him? And for the record, does anybody really think that Parsons is a better pass rusher than Hassan Reddick? I don't. I don't see it. I think that guy's so freaking overrated. I do. Dude, the great edge rushers, Crosby, Watt. Here, let me do this. Reddick, Watt, Garrett, Bosa. Does that guy look like those dudes? Shit, even that Daniel Hunter. Does that guy look, Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker, does he look like those guys? And the answer is no. So, Trey Hendrickson, who was just the AFC player of the week. Aiden Hutchinson? No way. He does not look like those guys. Dude, when people tell me the Cowboys are going to pay that guy $40 million, that's the problem the Cowboys have. Howie Roseman would not pay $40 million for that guy. You know why? He's not a complete ball player. And get this, he could be, but he doesn't want to do it. That's the problem Dallas has. You got players that want to do what they feel like doing instead of players doing their jobs. Philly has players do their jobs. Dallas does not. I remember when fools compared Parsons to LT. What a bunch of goose. Dude, Lawrence Taylor and Reggie White in their bad games were insane. I can't tell you, I've never seen Reggie White or LT play a bad game. Even when they lost, you never saw it. I played in that era, and when you put the old VCRs on and you watched Reggie White and LT, and then that's why I get pissed off at John when he starts talking about Parsons being a great player. I watched Derek Thomas, and I'm like, never. Pat Swilling was a better ball player. And most of you don't even know who he is. I want to show you something here. How many people in here have ever heard of Pat Swilling? Now, Xander's a young guy. Probably never heard of Pat. I want to show you something here. Pat Swilling, okay? Probably never heard of him. Never heard of Pat Swilling, right? I want to show you something here with him on who he was. And I got people trying to tell me that this guy here is better than Lawrence Taylor. So here, let me give you a little insight here. I'm sure Xander's never heard of this guy. Here, Xander's a young guy. Here's Pat Swilling's career. 11 sacks, 7 sacks, 17 sacks, 11 sacks, 17 sacks, 11 sacks, 7 sacks, 13 sacks. NFL Defensive Player of the Year. AP All-Pro. AP All-Pro. AP All-Pro. AP All-Pro. I mean, come on, man. This guy played in 140 games, and he's got 111 sacks career. Do you understand what I'm saying here? This guy was a double-digit sack guy. Guy was insane. Okay? Dude, you know why, Pat? Do you know why Micah Parsons blocked me after somebody said some shit to me? And I told him, I said, bro, you're not even Charles Haley. Don't kid yourself. He got mad at that. I'm like, you're not Charles Haley. Charles Haley's the owner of 5 Super Bowl rings on 2 different teams. And he didn't want to hear it. And I'm like, Doug, I don't think you're a bad player. But to sit there and try to tell me this guy's the best pass rusher the Cowboys have had in the last 30 years is absurd. Here. And again, so when this guy plays against Lane this weekend, you're going to annihilate this guy again because he'll make excuses up for some other reason. Here's Charles Haley. 12 sacks, 7 sacks, 11 sacks, 10 sacks, 17 sacks, 8 sacks, 6 sacks, 13 sacks, 11 sacks, 12 sacks. First team All-Pro 4 times and 5 Super Bowls. He played in 111 ball games and has 100 sacks. Come on, dogs. Don't talk to me what a good pass rusher is. I know when I see a good pass rusher. Okay? I know when you see it. And that's why when you guys start talking to me about Nolan Smith coming along, dude, he's on a baby's nipple right now still. He's got a long way to go. And Bryce Huff, that guy stinks. He is killing the Eagles' edge rushing. To say here's the equivalent. Bryce Huff is so bad. To sit here and tell me that he's a rotation piece now is a colossal disaster. Has to be one of the biggest free agent disasters since Nnamdi Asomugha. I mean, Nnamdi Asomugha brought nothing to the Eagles. This guy has brought nothing to the Philadelphia Eagles. He has been a colossal disaster. And you're going to need that. Hey, who was the one determining factor that helped you get to the Super Bowl in 22? Hassan Reddick destroying Purdy. That guy is in a rotation. You don't have edge rushers this year. They're actually pathetic. Well, they're getting better. How can you tell when you're playing nobodies? This is my point. You don't have edge rushers. You do not have edge rushers. You don't. In this sport, what are the premium positions? Edge rushers, corners, receivers, quarterbacks, tight ends. That's where all the money is in today's NFL. The rest of those players and positions are now interchangeable. You know why? Because the game is so more spread out today than it used to be. You know why the linebacking core is no longer? Do you know why the linebacker position, folks? Okay, do you know why the linebacker position in the NFL, okay, is no longer a premium position like it used to be? Why do you think that is? Anybody? Keith, nice. Yes, the game's played in more space today. Forte says passing league. Spread offenses. There's one more component on why the linebacker is different today. There's one more. You're right. Space. The game is played in space. Spread offenses, getting everybody out wide. There's more of the field to have to cover. Linebackers have to be more versatile, almost like oversized safeties. There you go, Abe. No fullback. That's why San Francisco runs the fullback. San Francisco is one of the very few offenses, and now Baltimore's doing it. Because you know why? You have undersized linebackers in the middle. You can get away with it. Back in my time, you had Levon Kirkland at 265 pounds playing inside linebacker. You had big backs in the middle, and you don't have that any longer with the fullback position. Very good, Abe. That's exactly correct. The game is played in space. That's why you can get away with a guy that's the size of Nakobe Dean. He didn't have to take on those giant fullbacks coming in the middle like Daryl Johnston. He doesn't have anything to do with that and the responsibility of having to be physical in the middle any longer. I think Mike is trying to make Jerry think that they need him. If he sits out another game, he plays good. This team will have, when this team has the lead. Hey, Sean. I really have been disappointed with how Jerry Jones has run his team. He just could not ever put his ego aside like Bob Kraft did. And he could never just admit that he made the biggest mistake of his entire ownership, and that's football-wise, firing Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy would have had a transitional guy go in there and take over for him, someone that could have been somebody that could carry it on, and he would have set up his personnel department. Jerry Jones overvalues his players. It's not that they draft bad, but Jimmy would never have paid those guys the money. I'm not paying Dak Prescott $60 million to be common. Well, what's your alternative? Okay, Cooper Rush. I'm fine with Cooper Rush. I'm fine with Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm fine with Brock Purdy. Why would I? Hey, get this. I can get to a Super Bowl if I'm San Francisco with Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy. And Jimmy Garoppolo made $1.5 million when he got to the Super Bowl, and the other guy made $900,000. Why would I pay $60 million for a quarterback that's not leading me anywhere? What's the point? Shit, at least when Hurts got to the Super Bowl, he was making $1.5 million. He kind of could justify it. He still got us there, played really great in 22. There's more of me going, all right. Dak Prescott, I'm like this. I know who he is. Well, Sills, look what Cousins got. Okay, I'll pay him $45 million. I'm not paying him highest paid guy in the position. I'm not doing that. And I could take that $15 million and spread it over on my defense and get a safety like Jesse Bates. Stupid shit in Dallas. Dude, Cornelius Bennett was way better than Micah Parsons. I'll make a comment to you, and you know I'm very partial to Cornelius. He's a dear friend of mine. He's a very close friend of mine, and I love him a lot, and he's a South Florida guy. He's a Bama dude, too. He was there before Derek Thomas. And I want to show you something here. Cornelius Bennett. Cornelius Bennett, Micah Parsons, Cornelius Bennett. Really? Okay, here's who Cornelius Bennett is. This is way before Xander's time, and I know he's a big Bama guy. 5-time Pro Bowler. NFL 1990s All-Decade Team. All-Rookie Team. Bills Top 50 Anniversary Team. Lombardi winner. 71 sacks. 1,190 tackles. 5 conference championship games. He's been to 5 Super Bowls. I mean, I know good players when I see them. That's a phenomenal player, Cornelius Bennett. And him and Derek Thomas are on the same Bama team. How's that for you? Think about that, Xander. At Alabama, Ray Perkins, who drafted me in Tampa, was the head coach of Alabama. And he recruited and signed Cornelius Bennett and Derek Thomas. They were Bama guys on the same team. Okay? Ricky Jackson was sensational. Hall of Famer, played on those pit teams with Hugh Green. See, you think it's a mindset issue, a coaching issue, or just it's physical traits that prevent Micah from reaching his potential? No, I think I'll tell you what's happened, Sam. Sam, let me talk to you about failure. Okay? Let me tell you about failure. So at Miami, I left the University of Miami an All-American. Nobody was faster at the D-tackle position coming out of college. Nobody was stronger. I was a 570-pound bencher, and I ran 4.8s at 293. I had a 38 vertical. I could slam a Nerf ball back in the day. All of that. And I was productive. I got to the NFL, got my money, things started falling through the cracks for me. Things that I thought were important didn't become so important. And the littlest things that don't seemingly become important, getting your teammates back, playing through injury, doing what the team wanted to do, playing you out of position, all of that stuff, being on a bad team, all of that starts to weigh. Now, some would go, damn, Sills, you couldn't overcome that? I never in a million years thought it would go like this. It went so fucking fast, I didn't have a chance to grab a preserver. Today's NFL, these guys can grab preservers because you have the practice squad now. You know, they give you time when they draft you high. When you get drafted high, back in those times, there's only 43 guys that made a team. Now 70 guys make a team. I'd play 40 years if I played in today's NFL. 70 guys make a team. 57 and 19. I mean, I'd played 10 years. I think sometimes that stuff gets on you. It just gets on you, man. Sills, is Parsons unwilling to be physical? Or no. It's not wanting to be unphysical. Parsons doesn't want to do it. You heard what Tony Casillas said. Tony Casillas, you know that guy I had on yesterday? He was the second player taken in the NFL draft as a nose tackle. He was drafted ahead of that guy. And he's got a Super Bowl ring. And Tony was a really good player, and he does shows in Dallas. He says he don't want to do it. Okay? He doesn't want to do it. So what does falling through the cracks mean? What were you doing or not doing specifically? Here, it could help other players. Here, when I was in college, I can't tell you how many times I was in the film room watching the guy who I was playing against, like Mark Stepnoski or guys like that when they were at Pitt. And I would have my first 4 pass rush moves in mind. You know who told me to do that? Buddy Ryan. Buddy goes like this. Buddy taught me how to watch film. Buddy goes like this. When you're watching an opponent, I had 2 years of Buddy Ryan teaching me how to watch film. And I'll tell you what Buddy told me. He says he used to tell Steve McMichael this. He goes, get an idea what the weakness of the offensive guard is. And take a look. He has a weak inside move. He can't handle inside moves. If you move his feet, you can power him. You can bull rush him. You can swim him. You can do a reverse turn, chop, spin, but don't spin into the center. Get him in space. Get him on his heels. Try to figure out what his weaknesses are. So you're watching it, and he's sitting next to you, showing you how to watch film. So I'm sitting there listening to him. He goes, what would be the first 3 pass rush moves you would do on this guy? And it was Mark Sedmowski, so I was playing against him. And he goes like, and I go, you know, I don't think he's very big. He goes, right, bull rush him, bull rush him, bull rush him. You're not going to get home. But the third one you are, because you're going to make a quick swim inside. Make sure you tell Jerome to go out, so that sends the guard and the center that way. You'll have space in the middle. Sure enough, I had a sack in that game. And I got a game ball for that game, and I had 11 tackles and 2 tackles for losses on Ironhead, all because Buddy had set me up on how to watch it. I didn't do that in the pros. I don't know why. I got to the Bucks, and it was just one excuse after another. Now it's podcast, postings, videos, opinions. I mean, that's where I think he is. Football's not a priority. It's got to be a priority. It's got to be a priority. JB, exactly. Buddy used to go like this. When you get to the NFL and you see Bruce Matthews, or you see, I'm giving the guys back in my time, Mike Munchak, or you're going against some of these players, guys you've never heard of, like Tom Thayer, who are on that barrel line, who didn't get a lot of love, was a technician. I'm stronger, I'm faster. How did he stop me? He was a better technician than I was. I couldn't understand it. Or a guy like Ray Donaldson. Ray Donaldson used to do this one thing to me, man, that I could not get around, and I'd never seen it before. He would do this head fake on me, and I would almost be stumbling. I had never seen anything like it. And he's going this way, and I'm biting on the head fake. Slip and scoop, slip and scoop, slip and scoop, slip and scoop. Fucking killed me. Wasn't overpowering me. He was a technician, but he was 6'6", 350 pounds. He was just a technician. Next year, I backed up off the ball. I talked to Bob Golick and how to play that. I had 10 tackles on him. And I almost knocked out Eric Dickerson. I posted that video of me killing Dickerson. That was on Ray. But Bob said, back off, man. He's doing that because you're too close to him. I didn't know all that. Dude, NFL is such a game of technique. In college, it's a game of power. In the pros, it's a game of technique. Everyone's powerful and everyone's strong. That's why when you see plays by Barkley and you see plays by Devontae, those are special guys that do that tap-toeing. Not everybody can do that. I never saw Marvin Harrison do shit like that. He's a way better athlete than Marvin Harrison was, Devontae Smith. Barkley jumping over people like that. I mean, today's athletes at that position, I never saw Eric Dickerson do that, or I never saw Peyton do that. I never saw Bo Jack. Now, maybe Bo. Bo was a different dude. Sills, would you mind talking to Jordan Davis? I have. Through Clint Hurt. Okay, I have. Not directly, but Clint asked me, what do you think he's doing wrong? I think it's a mindset. I just don't think he knows how to get off blocks. He gets so wrapped up in looking up and playing high, he gets blocked. Jalen Carter is so pissed off at him right now. You want me to give you guys some insight? Okay. I hope this doesn't stop my connection with Clint. He's so pissed off right now, and he's so frustrated by the double teams. Carter is aggravated because he's taking on all the double teams. Here's what Jordan Davis does that aggravates the shit out of me. He engages well. Okay? Then he peaks. And what happens when you peak? You get pushed off the ball. And a guy, dude, here, Jordan Davis is so big and strong. Let me ask you guys this question here. Okay? Let me ask you guys this question. If an offensive lineman is grabbed by Jordan Davis, and Jordan Davis has him, and he runs him over and puts Cam Jurgens on his back, who won that? Cam Jurgens won it. It's not about being powerful. It's about disengaging. That's what it's about. Philly 4x4. Look at these guys. Some of these guys don't know that Clint Hurt is one of my recruits at the University of Miami. How fucking stupid are some of you? I recruited him. Okay? I recruited him. Talk to his parents. Don't tell me about Clint Hurt. I recruited him. Okay? Yeah, he plays high. Okay? He plays high. He's got to get down. Dude, and we're now 3 years in. He thinks he can get away with his physical talents. In this league, he can't. Okay? He's just not, it's just not coming along enough. Davis could be so much better if he just improved his technique. Yeah, or you limited him. Now they're limiting his role and they're limiting him reps, and it's still not translating. That's why there's less reps. They're not putting him on third down. They don't want to tire him out. So they're playing him on first and second. But you understand something here? The majority of the time, their defensive line is in a third down package, which means 70% of the time he's going to be off the field. Are you going to pay that guy $14 million and pick up his option? Are you really going to do that for a guy who plays 20 plays a game for you? You know, John says this, well, he's misunderstood. 20 reps is not misunderstood. That's who you are. If you're only getting 20 reps, how many? Get this. When I hear that Bryce Huff is only getting 7-8 snaps a game now, you're a non-factor. He's a less of a role player now in Philly than he was with the New York Jets, Bryce Huff. That's how I see him. And, you know, you get Xander or John or some of the guys go, hey, you know, you had a sighting here. And you're like, dude, that guy right now is less productive than he was as a rotation guy when he only got 478 snaps last year with the Jets. He's worse. Why? Because they asked him to play more reps. Remember at the beginning of the year, I said, so you think increasing his play volume is going to make him a better player? I went like this. Never happened. Never happened. That's why I'm encouraged about Jalen Carter playing all but 2 snaps this last week. That's encouraging. That's encouraging. When I heard he played 60 of the 62 snaps, that is great. And he was great in the fourth. I heard those guys, and I heard Dan Orlovsky talking about the Georgia guys. I mean, dude, Nakobe Dean had 2 tackles. He's playing great. Come on, man. He still struggles in pass coverage. He's showing he's can fill a gap a lot better than I thought. I'll give you my assessment. How's Nakobe played so far? How about this? He sucks so bad that everybody is so engaged right now and shocked how well he's improved that they're saying he's playing great. I think he's been solid. I don't think he's been great. I don't think he sucked. I don't think he's hurting you like he did the last 2 years. But to sit there and go like this, that guy's I don't know. He's okay. He's not better than Kaiser White. Kaiser White could play in coverage. You were second in pass defense between TJ and Kaiser and your secondary and your pressure in 22, and Kaiser White had 120 tackles. Is he better than him? I think he's Kaiser White. Hey, when he has 118 tackles, let me know. And I'll tell you if he was better than Kaiser White. Sills, you're earning your money today. Yesterday, you were a fat tart. Keep up the good work, Keith. Thank you. Hey, I have my days there, Keith. And the other Georgia guy, Nolan Smith. Okay, yeah. I mean, playing great. You think that guy's playing great, and that guy's giving you pressure on the perimeter. Like Xander goes, well, he's not a liability. Holy shit. Okay. Well, that's traditionally not the 30th pick in the draft. He's not a liability. Hey, congratulations. The 30th pick in the draft is not a liability. Hey, would you want a pat on the back for that? That's still a colossal miss. Sills, by the end of the year, could he be better? Yeah. But today, right now, a long way to go, kid. You're getting no pressure from your perimeter edge rushers right now. And you're going to need that when you play better teams. Sills, do you see signs of things yes. Yes. Jalen Carter, playing the 3 technique exceptionally well. He gets frustrated. I know this. He gets upset with the doubles. And sometimes he gets knocked on his back. No, not on his back. He gets knocked off the ball because he's frustrated, not because they did it. Hey, dude, nobody likes 600 pounds pushing you like that for 60 plays. Nobody likes that. That is an all-day event. But, dude, playing the nose guard position probably put 6 years on me. I got 900 pounds of men. And every play, you're getting drilled like that. Something's going to break. So he's getting a little bit. So the Georgia guys, hey, man, Carter's playing. Carter is the guy right now. Davis, I wouldn't resign. Dean, I think he's a guy right now. Nolan, I mean, is that hey, how about this? If I were to redraft these guys today on November 7th, the Georgia guys, here's what I would do. Jalen Carter, 10th pick. Yeah. 9th pick. Yeah. Jordan Davis, 40th pick, 42nd pick, 50th pick. Nakobe Dean. Would I draft him higher than Jeremiah Trotter? I don't know. I think I'd draft him around the same place. Nolan Smith. Where was Alex Hunt drafted? 3rd round? Somewhere in there. 62nd player, 70th player. I mean, playing great. Boy, I don't see it. See, Jalen Hurts said something the other day that's great. He was asked the question about the quarterback room. And he was asked about Will, and he was asked about Tanner, and he was asked about Kenny, and those guys working together. You know what Jalen said? It was one of the greatest comments I've ever heard someone say something about a position room. He said this: everyone's eyes see the game differently. And it's great to have that collaborative effort on how everyone's eyes see the game. You guys see the game differently to me. I see it differently than many others too. I see it kind of, you know, what each position, technique, splits. Do you know what you're doing when you see a 1.5 foot split, 2 foot splits? Do you see when a guy and they have overloaded right? Do they come back counter tray? I look at it differently like that. I look at that zone in the middle of the field. Most teams now play with those Tampa 2 style linebackers because it's in space, like many of you realized. I mean, so when I see the Georgia guys, have been the production is a positive. 50 tackles, pressures. Yes. What I gotta ask you something. And we'll get Xander on at 3:30. So what was the numbers that Dan said? 50 tackles and what have you? Well, you drafted one guy in the third. You drafted another guy the 30th pick. You drafted another guy the 13th pick. And you drafted another guy the 9th pick. Why are you surprised that they're doing that? You know why? Because they haven't been productive. And you're starting to see it. Do you believe it, though? With the lesser football teams that you've played. Now, look, what I like about it is that it's like preseason football. In season, those are beyond quality reps that they're getting. And they're taking advantage of it. I'll say this to you. If those were older guys in there, wow, would I be on top of your defense? You're not going nowhere. Right now, my position with your defense is this. I don't know what I'm going to see in December. I have no idea what I'm going to see in December. Are they going to be able to hold up? You didn't last year with the younger guys. What will you hold up? Do you have the depth? Is Dean going to stay healthy and continue his progress? Is Nolan Smith going to continue to have baby steps? Is Davis going to go backwards and continue to go backwards the way he is? Jordan Davis is going backwards. He's not going forward. He's like, it's not happening. It's just not happening. And I thought put him at the nose would actually be better. It's just not happening. I mean, and by the way, let me give you a little bit here. I tweeted this thing out here about Zack Baun. I had a conversation with a guy. I'll tell you. So I had a conversation with Dan Morgan. You guys know who Dan Morgan is? You guys know who Dan Morgan is? We're talking about you guys know who Dan Morgan is? Jarrell, tell the folks who Dan Morgan is. Yeah, Chuck, what's his current job? Do you know? Do you know what Dan Morgan's current job is? Yes, and he is a Miami legend. We were talking about the Canes. Jarrell, Carolina what? Tell the folks who he is. What his job is in Carolina. We were talking about the Hurricanes, and I think Ken Dorsey's probably going to get canned in Cleveland soon. We're kind of hitting around that. He's general manager of the Panthers. And we were talking about the Canes, and we were talking about some of the younger players that are playing there. We love what Cameron Kitchens is doing with the Rams. He said to me, he goes like this, hey, the kid Zack Baun. I said, dude, I can't believe how great he is. He goes, yeah, but Vic found him in New Orleans, right? He goes, yeah, we were trying to sign him. I go, why? He goes, I don't know. We had a feeling about him, and we were trying to sign him. He goes, you know how many teams were trying to sign him free agent-wise? but they were trying to steal him for less and no money. And I was going like, you guys made a play for him? He goes, yeah, we offered him a contract. He went with he went with the Eagles. Me and Chip said the defense had depth. Fat boy, give us our props. You don't have any depth right now. Where, at edge rusher? You suck at edge. You lose one linebacker, you're down to who? Trotter? That's not good enough. Actually, not true. The guy who found Zack Baun was Vic Fangio. Vic goes around the league looking at special teams tapes and then made the recommendation to Howie to sign him. Not true. That's not how that worked. That is not how that worked. So what's the best way to get Carter to avoid double teams? Do more stunts, try him at DE? No, because here's the thing, Sam. You start doing more twists and stunts, you open yourself up, because if the other guy's getting double teamed and blocked and not being able to get off it, dude, they're doubling the wrong guy. That shows you how backwards it is inside right now and how dominant Carter's been. Carter's production is down because of the play of Davis. The wrong guy's being doubled. You double a nose, not a 3 technique. The reason you put a formidable nose in there is to take the pressure off the 3 technique. And Carter is getting the double. The nose should be, let me tell you something. How many people in here would single block Dexter Lawrence? Would you single block Dexter Lawrence? Okay, would you single block Dexter Lawrence? He'd have 5 sacks on you. You double a premier nose. The wrong guy's being doubled. Think about it. Here. Okay. The nose is in the middle on the center. See him? This is what they're doing here. Here's Jalen Carter, the 3. See the center? He's coming over here, getting the 3 technique, and the guard is coming outside shoulder and getting him and double him. This guard over on this side is flat stepping on Jordan Davis and single blocking him. How does that guy make that flat foot step, gets up in him, and he can't beat that? How is that guy not fucking beating that? A moron can beat that. He's got to make that flat step and then up to get him. The center is coming up on Davis, and the guard is taking his outside shoulder. And they're doubling him. And he has to split it to keep integrity of the line of scrimmage. And he's doing it. Jordan Davis doesn't have a push in the middle. And it's causing Carter to have to take the doubles on. You want to know why your linebackers are making a fucking ton of plays? Because Jalen Carter is almost, Jalen Carter is almost 2-gapping in a 3 technique. Vic was asked the question 2 days ago. Is he getting frustrated? He goes, yeah, he can't. He can't get frustrated. I was told this a couple of weeks ago. He's getting immensely frustrated over it because he's taking on 75% of the doubles in games. That's why when you look at his number and you see the job that they're doing against the run, that's all Jalen Carter doing that. Jordan Davis is adding nothing to the mix. He's adding absolutely nothing in the middle in there. And the backers are freelancing and being able to make plays. Why? Because Carter is doing a job for 2 guys. You can watch it and see it. It's very simple. That's why when you guys keep going like this, why are you killing the kid, Sills? Davis? I'm like, this guy's taking on a guard, and they're slipping him. They're slip and scooping him at times. You know what a slip and scoop is? Guy will engage. He'll slip you to your outside. The opposing guy will come down, and that opposing guard is up on the linebacker. That's what the Jags did. I mean, so when I hear Dan Orlovsky talking to me about the fucking Georgia guys, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Carter is a beast. He's a stud. He's got a stiff next to him. Davis is not a good player right now. He's an okay player. Nolan Smith is at the beginning of everything here. Dean is becoming a non-liability. Still terrible in pass coverage. Let me say this to you. That guy couldn't cover George Kittle. Not in a million years. He's not going to be able to cover that guy Andrews in Baltimore either. That guy's 6'6", 250 pounds, and is one of the top 3 tight ends in the league. He'll crush that guy. Sills, what would be your advice today was to beat the slip and start getting the doubles again? Get up closer on the ball. Don't give him a chance to get a run and start on you. He's playing too off the ball. I see him. I told Clint that. He's off the ball too much, man. He goes, yeah, they want him to play off the ball a little bit. I go, I didn't want to say because I know who. Vic. Because they're thinking that his athleticism is going to help him. He's not processing that quick enough to make that step. He makes false steps in there too. You know what a false step is? They give him influence blocks. And you can see it. They give him influence blocks. A guy will step one way, the play's going the other way. Always read your keys. Remember what I told you guys? Never watch the ball. He watches the ball too much. That's why he plays high. Guys who play high will never make plays. You know why? The ball will never take you to the play. Your technique will. Everyone who plays in that league knows this. When you start, you could play like this in college. In your athleticism, you'll throw the guy because this guy's going to be working at an airport somewhere, or he's going to be working some job somewhere. He ain't going to the next level. And kill that guy. No disrespect to anybody works at an airport, but this guy's not playing in the next level. And you could kill that guy at Vanderbilt, Kentucky. When you get to the NFL, man, you start playing up like this, and they start running the ball this way, trying to run the ball backside on you. Guy's playing too high, man. So you think Vic will change the scheme for the DL later in the season? They got to figure one thing out, Jarrell, that's most important for the Eagles right now. My problem with the Philadelphia Eagle defense right now is this. You have not had enough pressure on the perimeter. Okay? They're not getting enough pressure. Okay? Get this. How can a guy play 20 reps and be doubled? He plays 20 reps a game. Do you understand what that means? He plays 2 series. If a team has a series of 7-8 plays, and the Jags play 7-8 plays, do you understand he plays 2 series a game? Do you understand what 20 plays means? Do you understand that? It's 2 series. Yeah, tell Greg Cosell to stick to running backs and wide receivers and quarterbacks. He knows what he's talking about there. How can a guy be a double team guy when he plays 2 series a game? I mean, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. And then I got a guy telling me, I had a guy tweet me at Dan Sileo show, hey, Sills, you think they should pick the 5th-year option? I'm like, why? Why? I mean, Mark Farzetta will join us at 5:30. Yes, sir, baby. Here's your elite guy. 3,770 passing yards, 21 touchdowns. Look at that. 7. Jalen Hurts is going, I'm going to make a prediction to you. Jalen Hurts is going to have more rushing touchdowns than passing touchdowns this year. And that's why we call him Wishbone. Now, the man who leads the Jalen Hurts fan club in Philadelphia, he is a man that saw this man when he was out in the quad playing Nerf football back in the day, little tiny Jalen Hurts. And he saw him showing up at school, going to classes. He saw him in the study hall. They were sitting there drinking Slurpees together there in the study hall down there at Big O, Alabama. You can also hear him co-host of Birds 365, our good friend, Big Z, Xander Krause.
What's up, Big Sills? Oh, wait, let me connect my good mic. How you doing, brother?
How you doing, Biggie?
I don't know if I'd call myself the president of that fan club. I think there's better options for the people out here, but I'll take it.
How about this? You really think the Georgia guys are playing good?
I think they're playing better than they were. I think they're playing at an acceptable level. Would I like to see more out of them? Of course, because I think a couple of them are really high draft picks. But, you know, Jalen Carter, you're seeing him start to play up to his abilities. Nolan Smith obviously looks like a viable player right now. Good against the run, a little bit.
I like what you said before. He's not a liability like Huff is.
Exactly, not a liability. So I kind of say that when I say he's getting good against the run. Not a liability is the way to go there. And look, he's got more.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
It is because it makes you more of a 3-down player. So absolutely. If he gets better at the pass rush, and by the way, he's got three sacks, I believe, in the last.
Not horrible. Not horrible.
You know, I think they all came in a 3-game or 4-game span. So he's definitely playing good football right now. And I think Nakobe Dean is, at the very minimal, he's a serviceable, solid linebacker. And when Vic puts him in the right, and when Vic puts him in the right spots, he flashes moments of, I don't want to say greatness, but better than competent. He flashes moments of good linebacker play, you know, when he gets uphill and he makes hard hits behind the line of scrimmage, which is good to see. Jordan Davis is on the milk carton now.
Hey, Jarrell, your boy will never get over 25 passing touchdowns ever in his career. He'll have more rushing touchdowns this year. He's on pace for 20 touchdowns rushing, and he's on pace for 19 TDs. Come on now, kid. Hang in there. Now, look, that's why they're resting him. Because, you know, dual threat. That's what you do when you got to rest. When you got to rest, dual threat. You don't rest. You don't rest Mahomes. Mahomes ain't resting. He plays in the preseason too. Dual threat.
Big Sills, a lot of your viewers have been fans for a long time of Dan Sileo and of the National Football Show. Many have been watching for 3 years, 4 years, 2 years, 1+ years. You got a lot of different modes. You know, I think people learn that. You had a good one today. You were dishing out real football knowledge, and then I activated my camera, and you instantly went into.
Well, here, I'll tell you what. You know what? It's because when I hear Dan Orlovsky, well, I do that also on Sundays too with the pre and post game show. Here's the one thing you got to remember when you start talking to me about a guy playing well and technique, and I see it and I talk to the D-line coach. That's not fucking what he's saying.
Yeah.
Jalen Carter's getting frustrated, and Vic even mentioned it in his presser the other day that he's getting frustrated because he's being doubled. Dude, the nose has to be doubled. not the 3 technique.
Yeah, I think in the 5-man fronts, though, Jordan has been getting maybe not all the doubles, but a fair share of them in that 5-man front.
And the 20
4-man
plays, and the 20 plays that he plays, right?
That's true. Yeah,
Dude, get this. That guy plays 2 series a game. Do you understand what 20 plays are? Say a team has a sequence of 2 10-play drives. That means what? So in the first game against Cincinnati, that was a 17-play drive, right? Okay, he plays the equivalent of 2 series a game. That's not going to cut it for me, kid.
That's not. No, you're right about that, no doubt. Wait, can I ask you though, why can't he play 4-man front? I get it. It's not exactly his skill set, but like I look at a guy like Milton and I'm like, all right, he's pretty good in the 4-man front. Jordan is athletic. He's fast for his size.
Fast hands.
Got fat. He's got everything I see that would make him a solid 4-man front guy, but he really struggles in it. Why is that?
He plays high. He watches the ball too much, man. I don't know what they did at Alabama with him, but the technique guy is Carter. Yeah. Jalen Carter, man, has way more proper technique and Milton. Hey, by the way, you know why Vic really likes Milton Williams? He plays awesome technique. You know why he hates Bryce Huff? Huff plays with no technique.
Yeah, Huff's got it.
Hey, by the way, I think he would play him if he just set the edge. You know what you're talking about with Nolan Smith? Hey, dude, Nolan Smith adding 3 sacks, but now he's also setting the edge and not getting out wide on him. Great. I'm going to play him. Lucius, thank you, my friend.
Lucius,
I'm going to play
Legend member. Lucius, thank you, brother. JAKIB Legend member right there. Returns. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate your support of the channel, Lucius.
Hit the damn like button, everyone. We appreciate it. All right, what football player on that team do you think they can't live without this year if he gets injured?
If who gets injured?
You tell me.
Can't live without besides Jalen Hurts, right?
No, him too.
Oh, well then Jalen Hurts. I mean, what the hell?
Bullshit. It's Saquon. You
Dude,
could win. You're going to still win 9 balls. You run the ball 14 fucking times a game, guy. You're not throwing the ball a ton.
Dude, are you seriously going to tell me if we had Kenny Pickett in there, we would be the same type of team?
If you ran the football the way you're running it at 50 carries a game and your quarterback doesn't have to have high volume throws like he doesn't, you're not going to win. Hold on. You're not going to win as many, but your season's not over.
Everybody and everybody in the chat right now is that shit crazy. We have Saquon, Baun,
your
Carter.
Passing offense is 20th. Your run defense,
Barkley, Lane, Juergens. Guys, it's Jalen Hurts.
Get this, folks. The offensive lineman went to the coaches to tell him we need to run the ball more instead of passing for a reason. Because the offensive passing game, the wide receivers right now on that team, one guy's over 1,000. Both of them are going to be under 70 catches this year. Injuries play a factor in that. But also Barkley's success is playing a factor. You got a guy that's going to go over 2,000 scrimmage yards this year and over 22 touchdowns. That guy cannot be missed on that offense.
I do not agree. I am so far on the other end of the spectrum on this on you. It's almost, I'm breaking.
You go right ahead because that quarterback, I mean, you can get away with Pickett winning you 9 games. You're not going to win 12-13 or your division, but your season's not going to be over if that guy misses significant time. You miss Barkley, Kenny Gainwell is going to carry the mail for you. That football team will win 7 games, like I said.
No, they will not, dude.
Okay. Come on, dude. So if you take the running game away from Philly's 20th ranked passing game, you think that team wins games?
Okay. Would you say the same thing in Baltimore then?
No, because last year they didn't need it. They won 14.
What about us? 2 years ago, we didn't have Saquon.
Hold on. They didn't need it a year ago. They won 14 games on home field advantage.
We had shitty Miles Sanders who didn't even play in the Super Bowl.
That guy doesn't rely on players to win ball games.
I don't agree.
Really? He didn't have 1,000-yard rusher or 1,000-yard receiver in Baltimore, and they still won 14.
Are you trolling me?
No. I think that guy is the most
one guy we can't lose.
Folks, I made a comment to Xander yesterday. If you take the quarterbacks out of the conversation and you just put players in the league, would Barkley be in your top 3 players for MVP in the league? And if I put the quarterbacks in it, would would Jalen Hurts right now in the first 8 games be an MVP candidate? Absolutely not.
Well, the NFL put out a graphic today. Who's your MVP? And Jalen Hurts was featured one of 4 or 5 players on the graphic. I'm not saying that's not coming from me. That's not coming from me.
A guy that's on pace for 19 touchdowns is your MVP and played well in 4 shitty games. We're in the same groundhog stuff as last year.
No, we're not, dude.
I'll
We're
be right
a
in the
different team
end.
this year, Sills, and we're not playing like we did
I'll be
last
right
year.
in the end again.
No,
I'll be right
I don't
in the end.
agree.
I was
Listen,
right last year.
I can appreciate the point that Saquon Barkley is a massive impact on this football team. The question you asked was, who's the one guy you cannot live without? If Jalen Hurts goes down, we will not make the playoffs. If Saquon Barkley goes down, we will be a different offense. We will be stagnant, and I do not believe we will go far. I believe we'd be better without Saquon than we would without Jalen.
So if you don't have both receivers this weekend, your quarterback's going to carry you to that win against Dallas this weekend with the receivers that you have in the room. Or is it going to be Barkley?
I mean, yeah, you're acting like we've never seen Jalen carry us to a win.
Without both guys? When was that? I missed it.
I mean, he has good players, but
no, I missed that without Devontae and AJ being out there. I missed that win.
He's got good players. What do you want me to say? Yeah, they've been healthy.
No. I missed that when players are missing, that he wins it. Like you think that team is going to be the same with Jalen Hurts, or do you think they're going to lean on Barkley again against the Cowboys? The Cowboys are the worst. And by the way, the reason they're resting him, you know why they're resting Jalen Hurts this week? Because he's going to carry the ball a lot against the Cowboys.
Well, you also have 2 divisional games in 5 days.
Especially if that's fair.
Yeah.
Thursday game.
I think that's part of it. I think that's part of it.
That is too. But if those 2 receivers are out against Dallas,
they're going to play. They've all practiced today, by the way.
Okay, that's a good
sign. You didn't know because it happened during your show. But yeah, they all practiced today. Okay. Everybody practiced today.
Okay. Look, I think the Cowboys are horseshit, but I do think that Dallas game, let's see how that is going to play a factor on that Thursday night game. Okay? How long are you going to play and how many running attempts? Because get this, Xander, how many running attempts do you think they're going to have in that Dallas ball game between Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley? You're hoping to get them out in the 3rd quarter, aren't you?
In the Dallas game, I am, but I don't want to think like that because I don't want to put the cart before the horse here and act like it's an easy game. Ideally, you'd love to get them out early because remember, they do have that Thursday game. How healthy can we keep them? But you don't want to think like that. You want to go in there and play good football and put them away early, but I'm not going to think like that early before it happens. So I would expect a lot of rushes. I mean, probably somewhere in the range of where they were. Saquon around the 20 mark, I'd say, maybe a little down from what he was last week. And I think Hurts is going to float right around 10, 12 in that range pretty consistently.
We kind of asked a version of this question yesterday. Do you think the Eagles are going to regret not making a move on trade deadline day? I'm going to ask you one more time this question here.
I mean, look, it's always easy.
And I'm not, Xander, I don't think, and I agree, and not here, let me go forward. I don't think they needed to make an A or B move. I think they needed to make a depth move.
Okay. And where would you have liked to have seen that? Like an edge?
Edge rusher, maybe. Can I tell you why running back?
I understand the running back take.
Here's why.
I do.
I see Kareem Hunt in Kansas City, who was out of football for a year and a half. This guy's gaining 100 yards. Look what he's doing without Pacheco and how that's helping.
I'll give you an even better comp. Look at Detroit.
They got 2 guys with a grand with David Montgomery.
And they're playing a similar style of an offense. I mean, I get why people go down that route. I do. I just don't see Howie spending more or investing more draft picks into that position. I mean, remember, he already went far and above what he's used to going at that position this year. Kenny Gainwell is also a 3rd-round draft pick. They spent a 5th on Will Shipley. Like, I don't think they're going to trade to bring in a back. I'm sorry. I just don't see it.
Okay. That's fair enough.
That's my take there is not my opinion that I don't think they should do it. It's more that I don't believe it's even an option for the organization. So I'm not going to get my hopes up. But you're right. I mean, I'd like to see 2 backs that are competent and can carry the ball and can take some of the pressure off Saquon and can kind of be your 1-2 punch. similar to like I mentioned Detroit. I mean, I love that that tandem of backs. Now
I can't believe what
I
I'm
watched
saying
Jahmyr
here.
Gibbs at Alabama. I'll never forget draft night. This was before
I
I
did
was
not
on the
think
air.
he was going to be as good. Hey, Bijan's great too.
John ripped the pick. I mean, and it made sense. I mean, the Lions took him really high, like
Oh
way
yeah,
higher than projected, like 12 or
maybe top
somewhere in there.
15.
I
Maybe
think he was
top 15.
top 15. And I said, I'm like, that dude is going to be a beast. He was unbelievable in his 1 year he started at Bama. He is a sick football player. Really,
Name me a
really
Bama
freaking good.
back that's not a really great
I
NFL
know.
player, though, man. I
I
mean,
know, man.
dude,
They
between the
are.
running backs and wide receivers at Bama, you're not going to go. Dude, even the guy you guys kicked out, Alvin Kamara, was a Bama guy. I mean,
Yep.
there have been an overload of great players at that
Hey,
position.
even the dudes that waited forever to play, like the Brian Robinsons of the world,
Yep,
he was like
yep,
he was like a 3-star coming out of high school.
yep.
He waited 3-4 years because he had to wait behind Najee and all these guys, and then he beasted. Now he's doing pretty good down in Washington. So yeah, Bama's got a lot of good backs, man.
Absolutely, man. And I probably would have done something at the edge because, Xander, that's my concern with the defense right now, is that you're really not getting any edge rush pressure. You're seeing, again, a development of Nolan, but you're getting nothing from Huff. And
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to speak because it's like if the right deal was there, I would have taken it. But how do you know the right deal was there? And then when you look at, Zadarius Smith, who was traded, what was the compensation for him? It was pretty low, right? I mean, it
no, it was
wasn't.
low. It was low for him.
Yeah, see,
Okay.
like that's a guy I would have maybe went for. And to be honest with everybody, to be fully transparent, I said no before the deal because I was like, I'm done with the older guys on the other side of their prime. But Zadarius Smith is still playing pretty good football. And to your point, he would have given you more depth.
I think we froze up there, Xander, a little bit there. I mean, Jarrell here is saying that it was a 6th rounder that they gave up for to get him from the Browns. You know what, too, Jarrell? I would say this to you, that was more probably also compensation and the salary that was also wrapped around that. So I would make that comment to you, too, that it was probably something to do with money. But a 6th-round pick for Zadarius Smith, that's one of the guys that I wanted Howie to go after, too, to try to create a little bit more depth on the perimeter. I think
For
that's
sure.
one of the still issues. You know what I'm saying, Xander? Xander, you with us here? He's still frozen. We're kind of like having a little bit of technically issues there with Xander here. Hopefully we can fix that here for a bit. I'll go back here in a second here. We'll go back to him. Don't forget Mark Farzetta is going to join us also at 5:30 here. This year Eagle team does not compare to last year's Eagle team. Not trying to compare this year to last year. Completely different. I feel more comfortable about this year's team, I would say, for sure. Is that running back from Boise State going to be gone first round? Because that would be a hell of a duo with Barkley. I'll tell you something, man. That kid, what's his name? Ashton. He's a Heisman Trophy candidate, too, and I've got him on my list right now. Absolutely. He looks like a pretty damn good player right now. This is what's available. Shaq Lawson. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I thought Dallas brought him in. If I'm not mistaken, I thought the Cowboys had brought him in. Okay. Yeah, I know. 39 years of radio broadcasting. You're right, Mr. Perez. What a dick. Unbelievable. Right. Sure. Been a one-man band, my friend, for 39 years and been one of the most successful people doing it. What would you possibly know about broadcasting? I didn't know he played up there. Let's see here. Xander's internet just went out, they said. Yeah, hey, Jarrell, you know who else? By the way, wait a minute. Jarrell, Ajayi was a Boise State guy. So was LeGarrette Blount. No, LeGarrette Blount was an Oregon guy. LeGarrette Blount was an Oregon guy, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was an Oregon guy. Dallas is not going to win. No one is suggesting Dallas is going to win. Nobody's suggesting that. It's a divisional game, though. Once again, look at this. Look at Steve. Hey, Steve, do you believe you're going to blow out? Steve, do you believe you're going to blow out the Cowboys? Do you believe you're going to blow the Cowboys out, Steve? Do you? Not you, Reyes. Go watch him then. You don't have to be here. I don't even know how you got a wrench then. I'm not sure why you're here. In terms of the schedule and playing bad teams, Detroit kills bad teams. We beat them by 5. How do you measure a team based on a schedule? Agree? Who said that I think that Detroit is any better than the Eagles right now? I don't know on November 7th because I don't know what the war of attrition is going to be. Same with the Washington Commanders. I have no idea. Okay? I mean, I don't. I don't know. Until I see Sirianni step back for good, I will never have faith that they will blow a team out. Correct. Okay? Prince has had great takes. I think Dallas beats us. I don't think Dallas beats you. I do not. Hit the like button, my friends. Xander's diligently working on his internet. Hang in there, everyone. We're good. Don't forget, Farzetta will join us also at 5:30. The Browns, with their backup quarterback, beat Sills' Super Bowl contending Ravens. The only team that I said, yeah, okay. And you lost to the Bucks. And you lost to the Bucks. Jimmy, for 4 hours, I fucking do that every day, Monday through Friday. What's new? He thought he was untouchable. Oh. No. You don't have, this is not a military draft. If you come in here and just taking shots and you're just like being stupid, what's the point of being here? So why can't Cowboys beat non-Super Bowl contenders? Because the Cowboys don't have any talent right now and they don't have any coaching. We didn't have AJ for, that's not an excuse. That is not an excuse. You pay a guy $50 million to carry. Sills, you really don't think Detroit is better? I do think they're better. I think they've played 8 weeks of better football than you. Yes, you've played 4. Yes, I do. Yes, I do think that. Dude, you don't get credit for 4 weeks of football when you've played 8. Run the ball with Barkley and Shipley. Use play action to open up the middle of the field. Take shots. It's not complicated. Yeah, unfortunately, they try to complicate it. Unfortunately, they try to complicate it. Well, I just got a text message, and supposedly Bob Lang is hard at work here, and he's trying to do his damnedest to sit here and shut Z down, but nobody shuts Big Z down. How you doing, bro?
You ain't shutting me down. Let's go, Perez. It's either Perez or Bob Lang, one or the other. Take your pick.
Absolutely. That's funny how. Hey, what do you think you're better than Detroit? Somebody just brought that up right now.
No, I don't think we're better than Detroit. Not yet. I think we have the. I think we could be better than Detroit. Right now, we're not playing better football than Detroit. We're playing good though. I mean, we're getting there, but we're not there yet. I mean, come on. You got to keep getting better. Plus, I don't want to peak right now. There's a chance that Detroit has peaked. Yes or no? It's hard to hold that level of play for 20 plus weeks.
Have you ever seen a team go from start to tape dominating a football league like the NFL? Have you ever seen that? Look at the Patriots. Watch this. Undefeated, they get to the Super Bowl and they get beat. Okay? Last year, the Chiefs, they didn't
Is that the
start from
Flexico Burris game?
No, that was the David Tyree game.
Oh,
The
yeah.
guy when the
off
Velcro helmet.
Yeah, off the helmet. Yep.
Okay? And you're right. Hey, DP, Detroit is on fire right now. And by the way, I think the 49ers could get on fire. Yeah, the 49ers were probably pretty much from but they got beaten in the Super Bowl. They got beaten in the Super Bowl. Absolutely. All right, let me ask you this question here.
Dude, Bob Lang is weird, man. He made it down to my girl. I'm not even at my own home studio. I'm at my girlfriend's house, and the internet's going in and out. They got like the best internet in the world. It's happened twice today. It happened this morning on Birds 365, right before my show started.
Like a reverse juju or something.
I don't know what's going on, man.
All right, I'm going to ask you this. I was going to use this as a topic here later on in the program, but I'll throw it at you right now. It's Nick Sirianni. Do you agree his job's in jeopardy?
No.
Okay.
Not right now.
So you think he saved his job?
Well, let's see how the season goes. I mean, if he has another catastrophic collapse like last year, he's going to be gone.
So if he makes it to the second round of the playoffs, he keeps his gig.
I think it'd be hard to fire him at that point, right? First round of the playoffs, if you lose and you lose like you did last year to Bucks, and the team doesn't show any effort and they look like they barely wanted to be there, I think he's gone. I mean, we could be.
If you're 13-4 and you get beat in the opening round, he's gone.
What was that? If we're what?
If you're 13-4, which
what was Big Z's original win prediction?
No, not happening.
It was 13-4.
Yeah.
My original win prediction was 13-4.
Not happening. It's not happening. All right.
I'm on a legendary run of predictions.
Of what? Now. Your internet going out? Here, let me go like this here. Okay. Are you ready to do Abe's? Here's my grades coming off of the Jag game. You ready? I'm going to start with Jalen Hurts. You tell me this past week heading into the Cowboy game. I gave Hurts an A.
Versus who? Last week?
Jags.
Yeah. I'd say an M. Yeah, A.
Barkley, B+. Not getting the first down still's going to rag me a tad, so I'm going to give him a B+, even with the amount of game that he had and the yards he had in the game, and he was spectacular in the game. I still, man, mental errors is what cost you Super Bowls.
Yeah, John brought that up this morning. He actually dropped in PFF ranking for running backs after last week, despite 160-yard performance and 40.
It's not about the spectacular play; it's about the shitty play.
Isn't that What'd you give him?
Gave him a B+.
I think that's right. That's good. I mean, wait, listen though. Reyes says that's a whack grade. Well, Reyes, if you take a test or you take a whatever you want to call it, and you get some basic stuff wrong, you're not going to get an A+. He did good, but he messed up on some things. You got B+. It's a good grade.
And Reyes likes to do life at a bell curve. That's why football is not gauged on a bell curve.
Where Perez goes, he's still trying to get up because I beat him with a wrench. He's seeing stars right now, laying on the ground looking for
that guy. He's probably in the corner moaning right now with LJ.
Wrench came and bopped him in the head.
What grade would you give LJ for the Jags game? Or AJ?
AJ?
Yeah.
For the Jags game? He didn't what do you have, like 50 yards and missed half the thing?
Yeah.
C+. C. Passing.
I gave him a C-. All
right, that's cool. I'm cool with that. You remember, everybody, Sills has a little bit of a slant toward AJ, so
he's a shit talker. I mean, I kind of like shit talkers. We're all right there. I mean,
grading curve.
Grading curve, man. This is what it is.
Look at this.
Hey, Sileo, Hurts is officially in the top 4 QB for MVP. Yeah, you tell you what. You take your MVP, I'll take the other. I'll take the field. Don't worry. The guy will come. Hey, you're right. How about this? His 450 passing attempts and his 19 touchdowns and 3,200 yards. You keep hanging in there with that. Guy's a dual threat. You had to rest him today too, because you know why? He's got a lot of running to do the next 2 weeks. How many passing attempts do you think Jalen Hurts will have on Sunday? 6?
What happened to the big souls from hour number 1 who was breaking down football and showing me where D tackle should be and everything?
Because I can't stand these fanboys with this guy. All right.
6 of 10.
Devontae Smith.
Somebody's got to have a big game.
Yeah. I gave him B+.
Yeah, that's good. Last week?
Yeah, last week.
I'm maybe going to give him an A. That catch was nasty, my dude.
He was good. And plus, you know what? The offense didn't tank
that catch was insane in the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
And then he had that nice play, the play action pass down to the 12. He had some big gainers in that game. I'm going to give Smitty an A.
I think that tight end position of yours is very underwhelming this year.
I would agree.
Get this, as much
as Dallas Goedert, I mean,
as much as Grant Calcaterra's made some plays, it's still not really anything to really. I mean,
yeah, it's nothing to like.
Right.
It's nothing to hang your hat on for sure.
Right. And the bag of dildo wide receiver 3 position, I'm not even going to go down that line because Dotson had a great catch. Well, shit, dude.
He's I know. Somebody tried to tell me Dotson wasn't a bust because he had that big catch the other day. That big catch he made? I'm like, dude, he's got like 70
that Hail
yards.
Mary catch that went over off.
He's got what? How many yards does he have in 7 or 8 games or 9 games?
I guarantee you he had more yards in that catch than he had in every game he had this season so far. You want to bet?
No, I don't want to bet because I think you're right.
I bet he had more yards on that catch than he had the entire season.
Dude, he had more yards on more yards on that catch than he had combined in every other game of the year. Wait, he had 11 and 10. That's 21. 8, 29, 6 is 35.
Third rounder.
He had 36 on that catch. He had more yards on that catch than he had in every other game combined.
Third rounder. And Zadarius Smith went for a 6th rounder.
Holy shit. No. Is Dotson better than Dropkins? No.
No
way.
You want to hear this? They have not replaced Dropkins.
No. They haven't. Everybody shit on Quez Dropkins. Fucking dude stunk. And we can't replace him.
You can't replace him. You have not replaced Quezzy.
Oh, I didn't know they said that on the broadcast.
What's that?
They said that apparently on the broadcast about Dotson's catch. That's crazy.
I gave Fred Johnson a C for the Jags game. I like Fred.
Yeah, I think that's another Sileo bias. I would give him a little lower. He got burnt a couple times.
Dude, he's playing Josh Allen, Trey Hendrickson. You're making this guy seem like he's Jordan Mailata. I can't fucking believe he's even hanging in there.
All right. I mean, I'm not going to grade on a scale.
How about this? They ran the ball for 200 and some odd yards. He had to have done something right.
All right. Would you give him a C?
C.
Yeah. All right. I'll give him a C.
Landon, I gave a B+ for the Jags game.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I didn't really watch Landon all game. I know we didn't get beat any. So
interior guys.
Yeah, I know you love those.
I gave Cam, dude. I think Cam Jurgens is going to Pro Bowl this year. I gave him a B+.
Yeah, he's been good, man, replacing Kelsey. He cleans up some of those penalties. He's gonna be a real weapon for us for a long time. He's not quite as good as the tush push though.
Yeah, I went back and watched that Becton play of yours, man. Dude, that
Which
guy.
Play? Yeah, the one where he was just throwing dudes.
Dude, he grabbed that guy and threw him out like he was throwing him out of the club. I mean, he threw that guy out of the club like he was a bouncer, dude. Just wham. I mean, across the room, dude. I mean, I gave him a B+ just on that alone.
I think Perez left. I think he's still seeing stars. He's still knocked out, down for the count. Say it, Perez.
Hey, watch this, Perez. You can't man up. You can't ball up. You can't be in here, man.
It's a dumbass. He's had more dumb comments than M. Rice.
Ever. Well, some here, yeah. Lane Johnson is the perennial right tackle all-pro this year. I don't see anybody that has played better than him at the right tackle position. Lane's had a great year. He's had a really great year, man.
You think Lane's going to get into the Hall of Fame? Or no,
Third
because
ballot, something like that. Third ballot Hall of Fame or something like
You
that.
think the right tackle thing is gonna hurt him?
Yeah, a little bit. Probably that's why. Well,
How many right tackles are in?
I think 6.
And how many left tackles are in? Like a lot, right?
The rest of them, yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's like 32. So they're all left tackles from the tackle position. Right tackle's a tougher thing to make. Ron Yeri is one of those kind of guys. I think also Forrest Gregg was a right tackle. Those dudes, man, they get docked because of that. But it's a different NFL today too, because those edge rushers, they rotate now and they travel.
Wait, Perez, I'm not talking about you. Do we have 2 Perez's? We got
that's the guy you took.
No, that's not him. That's
Oh.
not the Perez I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Then we got Martin Perez, and then we got Mr. Perez. I always thought it was the same guy with 2 accounts.
They probably are.
Where is
okay? They probably are. Okay.
Where is the Mister? He's a dork. Mr. Perez.
What is Sills? What was I wrong about? What was I wrong about? I said at the beginning of the year he was going to make the Pro Bowl. That was my bold prediction. The fuck are you talking about, ass bag? I told you he was going to. A bold prediction of mine was that he was going to make the Pro Bowl. Xander goes, I like that. The fuck are you talking about, kid?
Senor, get it together, my kid. Get it together, senor.
Bad take, Junior. Hey, Aubrey. Bad take. All super chats will be read.
We might beat the Cowboys by 40 points.
Xander says
that's not my official prediction, by the way.
Cowboys by 40. I'm sending that to Stephen Jones later.
Good.
My partner says that the Eagles are going to beat you by 40 points. Make sure you put that in the wall in there. Hang that baby up. JAKIB has the Eagles beating the Cowboys by 40. And by the way, since 2000, the record is 25-23 in favor of the Eagles. But because that game, like John said, that the Cowboys aren't good. Has that ever mattered? Has that ever really mattered?
Like Cooper Rush?
Functional.
He didn't look functional last week.
I like him better than Kenny Wickett. He's actually won football games.
All right, Senor, I like that. I like that exercise by you. Have you seen the Cowboys home games this year?
What, sold out?
Who gives a shit? Congrats, Jerry's lining his checkbook. I don't give a fuck about that. I mean, are you kidding me, dude? They lost 44-19. They lost.
Hey, LJ, Chuba Topanga. You know what that means?
47-9. Dude, that's ugly. They lost to the Ravens, too. How was it? Was that a nail biter?
Oh, man, it sounds like the Jaguar talk of last week.
Yeah, it was a nail biter of the Ravens game. No, it doesn't. You told me to be scared of the Bengals. You said we were going to lose by 11 points to the Bengals. And now in hindsight, you say it's a shit win, a struggling team, and nobody deserves credit for beating them.
It's not a shit win. The other ones are.
You've downplayed the Bengals win for the last week and a half.
No.
Yes, you have.
Maybe I have.
I have proof. I have it in black and white on your Twitter.
You
tweeted it today to somebody.
Hold on for a second. 3, 2, and 7 teams. Let's see here. Here's Xander's metric. They're 6 and 21 and a 4 and 5 Bengal team. So in the last 4 weeks, Xander's hanging his Super Bowl hopes on a team that has beaten a team with a combined record of 10 and 26. Yeah, man, that sounds good. I'm ready to rock. Hey, my guys are playing good. Who you played? Well, the combined record. And by the way, when you beat this team here, the Cowboys will be 3 and 8. Heading into Washington, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13 and 34. Yeah, 13 and 34. You're trying to tell me you're playing good ball against shitty, dumpy teams. Yeah. Don't bug me. All right.
The people are saying I cut off a Sills meltdown. What were you melting down about, senor?
I don't melt down over people, man.
Oh yeah, that's real true.
I don't. Why would I melt down over anybody in here?
Yeah, just maybe strap on a set of brass balls for the weekend's post-game show, all right? I'm going to need you to
do me a favor. Make sure I don't have to fucking filibuster my way on or somebody.
You're a big boy.
Well, wait a minute. You know why I had to say something to the guy? Because he was about ready to get up and leave the goddamn Lincoln Financial because I was getting and talking shit to him so much.
That would have been great content. Would have been great content.
If he would have left, look at you, man. Try to have a little diplomacy with you, man. A little, just a little.
I just want you to be a man.
Hey. So
I mean, it was really eight minutes of content. He starts with starts yelling. He ends it with, "I'm so sorry."
So I didn't say I'm fucking so sorry.
Who watched the segment? Who watched
I'm so sorry. That's what I said. I doubt that. And I said, I'm not sorry about my fucking takes. I just didn't want John to have a little powder. I didn't want him to have a little hiffy fit. And he was getting ready to leave.
They're already reputed John Daly down there at the NovaCare complex.
What's that?
I said they already rip you daily down there to John at the NovaCare complex.
Yeah, John, because you know what my aunt said to me? Did you hear what John McMullen said after you started talking shit to him? And I go, no, what'd he say? You don't know what I have to do after this.
Yeah.
You don't know what I do. And you know what that is? That's eating a ton of shit because of me.
Wait, you want to hear something hilarious? So we had a Jeff Kerr on Monday. And he was like, yeah, all the beat reporters were, they could hear John going at you. Like, it was like a thing that all the beat reporters were like, whoa, what's going on over there? Normally you just hear people doing talk shows or writing articles in the media room. John's head was boiling over. He turned into, a little rocket.
Hey, LJ, you're Monica Lewinsky.
LJ,
if I'm Hillary Clinton, you're the stained dress.
Lucius, I don't instigate shit, man. I let it happen. They clearly had two very differing opinions there, Lucius. That was a bound for an explosion right there.
Let me ask you one serious. You really don't think that guy's playing MVP football?
Who, Jalen?
Yeah, come on, man.
MVP,
Lamar Jackson is playing MVP.
MVP, no.
Josh Allen's playing MVP.
I agree.
Okay. Josh Allen. Jared Goff is playing MVP football.
Yes, he is. He's definitely playing MVP ball.
Now,
I think Jalen's close.
Jalen's picked this game up, though.
Yeah, and remember that
they'll have recency bias, yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, the last 5 weeks, I think he's been. If your team wins 13 games and you have a great season, you're the quarterback of the team. You're going to be in the conversation. Will he win? Probably not with Lamar playing like he is. Lamar looks like he's going to win it, right?
Unless he gets hurt because of dual threat. Hey, by the way, make sure your quarterback gets another rest because, he's got a big week coming up. So you got to sit him down and powder his ass.
Akbar, you're not still stuck on your shitty ass take from 2 weeks ago.
Nolan Smith is the MVP edge rusher.
No, he said he was bum juice. I'm like, dude, he's not bum juice. He's come along in the last 2 weeks. Akbar, you're not still stuck on that trash take, are you, my dude? Come on, Come on, Akbar.
Hey, wait a minute here. Hey, Sue. Do you really want me to go somewhere with this, Sue? Come on now. You're starting to pick on me? Remember, Sue? Aaron Andrews, just remember. Hey, by the way, Senor, Sue, you're next. Go make me a sandwich.
Oh, my gosh. I ain't making you shit, so it's a good thing they'll do it.
So you think Nick Sirianni saved his job?
I mean, what are you going to do? The dude's been in the playoffs 3 straight years. He's 6-2. You're going to fire him? I mean, come on. Be real.
You know what I love about Angelo? Angelo, by the way, WIP, you're welcome for having my guest on because, I know that he finally is now welcome
for 30 years.
Back at Yeah, well, they don't really want – you think the Eagles want that guy on barking about the Philadelphia Eagles?
No, they don't like it.
I do you true or false? Bob Lang, after Angelo went on, he called and complained.
Well, yeah, they got him on though because they've probably seen how many hits Angelo's getting on your show.
Angelo's a good 20. He's a good 20,000 viewer.
Yeah. Well, that's just YouTube too. He gets a lot on Facebook and all the other platforms too.
Hey,
So
Angelo's a good 20,000 view guy for us, man. And that's why I've tried to take as much care as I possibly can with him. And he's on there. And he was a little bit nicer though, because he knows that those guys are going to get shit.
Andrew's trying to make me go broke.
Can you ever get Sills on the post game? No. I've now learned because of Mark Holmes not to lie anymore. Absolutely not going to happen.
It would happen if I offered him some.
No, wait, yeah. Now listen, I owe him 15 minutes. No, I owe him.
I'll make a goal on the super chats if I get
me and him have a deal going on for something tomorrow, so I owe him $20. So I probably could go an extra time. Hey, no.
Andrew, I'm already broke from paying the man. If I get $500 of super chats, I only get like $250 of them.
Hey, know this, Andrew. Do you notice that Xander doesn't chew on his nuts anymore? Those sunflower seeds. That's because he's paying.
Yeah, I can't even buy a bag and buy his sunflower seeds. No, I love.
Would you want Micah Parsons on the Eagles?
No, he's a stiff, a softy, and a drama queen. And more made to be a media mogul than he is a great football player. I never want to hear the phrase again that he's Lawrence Taylor or anybody that's been great in this league. Fuck Michael Parsons.
LJ, eat a dick. If I eat a salad, you eat a dick.
Ahead, we could use his his talent, but the overall package is not worth it for Michael Parsons. It's not.
He's overrated, dude. John loves him. John thinks he's LT.
God, it's just ridiculous. I still can't get over that comment from John. That was like last summer. I still think about that daily. Micah is generational. I'm like, generation means once in a generation. There is nothing about that guy that is generational.
Like Derek.
I don't even think Cowboys fans think that.
No.
I mean, 304. Are you in here, 304?
Hey, how about this? You hear what Tony Casillas said yesterday? He plays when he wants.
Yeah, he does.
Plays when he wants.
Yo, I got to post that segment out. Tony Casillas was on fire yesterday.
Oh my God, did he shred the Cowboys?
Dude, he knows. And
he does a show in Dallas too.
It was good that he talked about the Cowboys, but I thought a lot of what he said kind of matched up with more than just the Cowboys. Like you could hear in Tony's voice how much it meant to him to forget putting on the star, but being an NFL player, how much he cared for his job and his career and what he wanted to do and what he wanted to achieve out there. I think that's a little bit of a lost art in today's world.
Well, the difference on wearing the helmet back then, you were wearing the helmet because you were playing next to Ed Jones or Randy White or players like that. Now you're a TV star and the guys just look at it as being a TV star. And hey, and for the record, I saw somebody in here, that dickhead LJ goes, who gives a shit about the Cowgirls? NFL players do. You know why? When you go to the Cowboys, you get paid more.
Ryan, the legendary Ryan. Guy's good for one comment a day saying somebody stinks.
Yeah, you're right, dickhead. Second pick in the draft, and he's got a Super Bowl ring, and he made a Pro Bowl, an All-Pro, and he stinks. Yeah. You know what stinks? I'll tell you what stinks. Jordan Davis, he stinks. That guy stinks. Okay? That stinks. I'll tell you what, though, man, if I'm the Dallas – I know I'm hard on him. I would never play Mozzie Smith again, though. Jordan, I'm going to play. I'm playing Jordan. But I'm not playing that guy. That guy is awful. Okay?
Look at Philly. Kraus, be honest. Philly, don't tell me what to do. I don't know how to lie, Philly.
Why are you in such a bad mood today, man?
I'm not in a bad mood. I'm actually in a great mood. The internet pissed me off, but I'm in a great mood. We're gonna throttle the Cowboys in 3 days.
I do not believe.
We're about to be 7-2. We're about to beat the Dallas Cowgirls by 38 points.
I'm gonna give you my stats for Jalen Hurts for the Cowboy game on Sunday. You ready?
D-Mac, I can actually say I do not, my friend, but I appreciate the comment.
What's
do not.
Here's my stats.
Where I just came from, D-Mac.
Here's my stats for Hurts on Sunday's Cowboy game. 92. 3. Okay, here's my stats for Hurts. 10 of 14, 135 yards passing, 21 carries, 92 yards rushing, and 3 touchdowns.
Dude, fuck your stats, dude.
That's what he does now.
Dude, that's not happening. He's throwing for over 200 this weekend.
He's 20th. You're making it. Do you know he's 18th right now in TDs pass? Wait a minute.
I don't care. I don't care.
Wait a minute. Where is it?
I'm telling you, I said it yesterday. Sills needs to go work for PFF.
Where's this step? Here it is.
Oh,
NFL
dude,
TD pass. Do you want to hear this? Baker Mayfield has 23 touchdown passes. Joe Burrow's got 20. Lamar Jackson has 20. Kirk Cousins is 17. Darnold has 17. Josh Allen has 17 and 2 picks. Rodgers is 17. Jordan Love is 15. And Jared Goff has 14. You know how many Hurts has? 9. He's got 9.
He's dual threat.
That's a wait a minute. That's elite. 9 TD passes at the halfway mark. Baker Mayfield's got 20. He's on pace for 46 touchdowns, and that guy's not elite.
Different quarterbacks, man.
Different what? Wait a minute. Okay.
Quarterback.
Well, Lamar's got 20. Dual threat.
I can't help it with that fucking voice. Oh my God. We're 6-2, dude.
Okay. I know. I got you, brother. 6-2. 7-1 last year. Same bullshit. Here we go again. Groundhog Day. I can hear the clock already.
We playing like we were last year? Do we have wait a second. In this very segment, in this same segment,
you're playing better.
You told me
playing better.
How important and how much more valuable Saquon Barkley was to the team.
You're playing better.
Now you're saying the 6-2 don't matter.
No. You're playing better on defense than you did a year ago. And remember what you were? You were 4th in rushing defense last year. Remember, you got out to a great start in the rushing defense. You were like 2nd, and all of a sudden that thing fell off the cliff. I think that's going to fall off the cliff again. Your rushing defense was going to fall off the cliff again. You know why? You wait till Baltimore gets a hold of you. They're going to run that ball at you for 300 yards. Dual threat! You think so you're stopping both Henry and Lamar in 3 weeks.
What did we take a time machine a second ago? What week 13? I'll talk to you in 3 weeks or 4 weeks, whenever it is.
So you're beating you're beating the Commanders.
Oh, we're crushing we're beating the Commanders 2 for 2 this year. Sweeping them.
So you're gonna sweep the entire NFC East.
Might lose. Yeah. Might drop 1. I guess this could be the Cowboy trap game. Might drop 1.
Oh my God, you got beat by Tyrod Taylor.
Wait. Let me ask you what. And Flex, you say I'm tripping. Do you want me to lay down like a dog, Flex? Oh, the Commanders. Yeah, they're gonna beat me. What am I? What is this? What is this?
What is?
You want me to go into the game and say,
what do you mean? What is this?
The Commanders. They're having the first good year. It's
Oh, since 97.
Jesus criminy, dude.
Since 97.
I'll give you my prediction when the game comes. Right now, we're sweeping the Commanders. Fuck them.
Yeah, look at this. Devontae Smith did not practice. Nolan Smith did not practice. Barkley, rest. I'm good with that.
That is funny, man.
I'm good with that.
You guys are funny. You guys are funnier than Big Sills.
Hurts, rest. Rest.
Dude, he needed it. He's dual threat. He's running all over everybody. He needed a rest day. Give him give him a break.
Yeah, that's why, because most of the great elite quarterbacks need rest. They don't rest them.
Dude,
they play.
There's plenty of great quarterbacks that don't do nearly as much during the week as you think.
No, he has more to do, and he has more on his table.
Well, he's running the ball. He's a dual threat. That's part of the gig. He's going to take a bigger beating, and he has. So give him the rest day. I mean, look, this is the reason I hate this comment. In all seriousness, is we argued so much about Jalen getting back to this style. This is the style. If that style comes with a rest day on a Wednesday, I don't really give a shit because it looks better. The offense has been better. They look like they can unlock another level and maybe get back to the Super Bowl if the ball bounces their way.
Here, and he's like you said, all kidding aside, Kellen Moore was brought in to improve the run game. They haven't improved the passing game.
The spin master Sills.
Hey, so Kellen Moore was brought in to improve the run game. Passing game hasn't improved. I mean, is that what we're doing here?
Yeah, but we've also been missing AJ for 3 out of 7 games. Missed Devontae for 1 game.
And to be fair, the completion percentage is up near 70.
Yeah, that's good.
That's excellent.
How about Jared Goff's right now at like 83?
Yeah, but that's a great take right there by you. That, get this, because of the injuries, still he's completing 7 out of every 10 passes.
Yeah, it's good.
And a year ago, he was completing down near 6.
And he's still throwing deep ball. He's still throwing. He's still moving the ball. I mean, he's not just throwing underneath or anything.
And the numbers are deceiving because they have been in and out of the lineup. Okay, they have. Well, you see, when you're a guy that's throwing the ball for 4,500 yards, Jarrell.
Get ready for the spin, everybody.
And 40 touchdowns at 1,100 yards. And on an iconic season, you rest Michael Jordan, who's going for his 3rd MVP. You rest. Do you understand, Lamar or Jarrell, that Lamar Jackson, if he wins his most valuable player award, he'll be the youngest player ever to get 3 MVPs before the age of 28.
Yeah, with an empty mantle. Guy's never even won the AFC.
Excuse me. Well, you do have to go through the guy who owns all the medals.
I know. You have every
guy went
in the world.
And he got beat too. Are you trying to compare Jalen Hurts to Lamar Jackson?
No. I'm talking about success and winning the shit that matters.
He wins 75% of his games too. He's just got the greatest.
You quantify MVPs. I don't give a shit about MVPs.
He's playing a generational player in his conference. You're not. You know who you're losing to? Baker Mayfield.
We also got knocked by Tom Brady. And then the other time we got knocked was Patrick Mahomes. How about that for generational? Okay. Huh? They might be the 2 greatest quarterbacks to ever touch a football.
And then you get beat by, what's that guy's name in Seattle? Brock Bowers? Who is the guy that was up? Drew Lock. What the greatness of Drew Lock beat your ass. So did Zach Wilson.
You got to be kidding me, dog.
Let's do the super chats. I'm about to throw up here. Everyone with this Jalen Hurts love.
We're going to destroy Dallas, and then we're going to beat the Commanders on Thursday night.
You know what? I think the two divisional games.
Hey, tread lightly. I'm hot on my predictions right now.
Does Washington play Pittsburgh on Sunday, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's a tough game.
1 o'clock game.
That's a tough game. Now, are they home or are they away? Oh, wait, I got it here.
I'll look it up.
Okay, Washington's home. So they only have to travel down 95 to
for Thursday. They wouldn't put them.
So they're not traveling from Pittsburgh to Washington and then down. Is that game in DC?
Which game?
Next week against Washington?
No, the Thursday night game's in Philly.
It's in Philly, so they
we go to DC. I think Christmas. I think December 22nd or somewhere in that range.
Okay, so both teams are home. I think they've scheduled it that way. I hate those fucking Thursday games.
Oh, dude, they suck.
I just totally hate them. If I was a player,
I'm gonna be working all night doing the post game show, and then I'm gonna get up and do Birds 365. I'm not complaining. I honestly love it.
Look at this guy. See what I'm telling you here? He's telling me all this shit about him. Look at this guy. This guy owns the damn thing, and he's now telling me he's moaning and crying about it.
I'm not complaining. JAKIB Nation makes it happen, baby.
Let's read these super chats. There's a ton of them.
Lamar lost to Mr. E to W. Correct. You won't hear anything from Sileo about that one, though, Jarrell. In fact, he maybe went the whole week. The whole week after they lost that game, he didn't even mention them.
Who?
The Ravens. After they lost to the shitty Browns with Jameis Winston.
Divisional game? Yeah, I got it. I'm all right with that.
Okay,
hey,
so wait. So if
be
we lose
prepared,
the Cowboys or the
be
Commanders,
prepared, Philly. Be prepared. You're playing a divisional.
Keep that energy when we play divisional.
I'll have the same energy I had after you guys almost lost to that Jags team. That's all right. I'll have the same energy. Don't worry, because you guys blow everyone out. Don't worry. You ain't blowing anyone out this year. You're not that good.
What do you mean? We already blew somebody out.
Yeah, you blew one team out this year. Woo.
The Bengals with Joey B.
Yeah.
How great is Joey B? You tell me once every 2
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah. Joey B is great. Oh,
Yeah,
so you're
well,
right. So wait a minute. You'd rather have Jalen than Joey B?
I never said that.
I was just checking. Go ahead, man.
I never said that. And I never said that. Jarrell said Jalen will outplay Lamar in 3 weeks.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, wait a minute. Jarrell, let me ask you something, Jarrell. Let's find out what kind of guy Jarrell is. So, Jarrell, if you're building your football team right now, are you building it around Lamar Jackson or are you building it around Jalen Hurts? Who would you build your team around? And the answer is pretty simple. Just look at the talent that was on the team a year ago. Now they've added some components this year. But ask yourself, Jalen all day.
I'm not gonna lie to everybody. I don't think I could pick Jalen over Jarrell or over Lamar. Come on, Lamar's a pretty.
He's a generational
He's a
guy.
generational talent. Now he better win, because if you get to the end and you're a generational talent, nobody gives a fuck. But listen, he's got
to win too.
He is unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's crazy, and he's getting better every single week.
I can't believe the job that Todd Monken has actually done with him.
Yeah, perfect. They're a perfect match.
I think he's just done an absolutely sensational job. And Xander, here's something else too. And this is to the point. And listen, I get it. He's got to totally win in the playoffs now, because that's part of this now. But if you look at his record, I want to show you something here, Xander. 13-2, 12-4, 8-5, 8-4, 13-3. He's 6-3. He's 64-22. I mean, in 7 years, he's 64-22 right now. He didn't start his first year. He came in later after. That was Joe Flacco still. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In 6 seasons, he's averaged almost 11 wins a year since he's been a starting quarterback. And he's led the
Jalen average.
And how about this? And he's led the NFL in passing once, 36 TDs, 26 TDs, 16, 17, 24. And right now get this. Last year he had 24 total touchdowns in an MVP season. Right now he's got 20 touchdown passes. How's that for you? Talk about getting better. Okay? You talk about getting better. Hurts there. Look at this. Boy, well, let me ask you this, Jarrell. What do you think Lamar Jackson would do with that talented offense that the Eagles have with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith? Now, he has his own version of Saquon Barkley. And that O-line. Not that Baltimore sucks.
Ryan.
3 losses. I know, guy. I know. You got 2. And one guy, dude, unbelievable.
Here we go. Ready for a Sills explosion?
I will take Hurts over Joey B. See, this is all you have to know about Lucius. Okay? Lucius would take a bag of dicks right now.
Dude, too many references to that in the last 2 days. We need to remove that from the podcast.
I don't even know where I got that from.
I think it was me. I'm not going to lie to you. I think
I'm going to have to retire that, man.
You got to retire that.
Yeah, I think I got to retire that because I'm not a fan of that. Let's read these super chats, man. I'm getting about ready to throw up here.
Sileo kicking me off his show. Good. Give me the fuck out of here. Lamar hasn't gotten to the big game yet. Dude, we got so many of these. Jarrell's dropped
Hey,
14 $2 ones.
Hey, Jarrell, honest to God, he hasn't got. So wait a minute. Jalen Hurts is in the same realm of Jake Delhomme, Jimmy Garoppolo, Rex Grossman, and Jalen Hurts. You know what they all have in common? They got to a Super Bowl. That's what Rex Hurts.
I got 2 new nicknames for Sills, by the way. Everybody should start using them.
Legend Sills.
One is Snowflake Sills for his performance on the postgame show where he cowered. And then the second one is Diddy Sills for talking about bags of dicks too many times.
I'll take the second one. That's not cool. I got it. The first one, yeah, that's me.
Snowflake Sills.
Yeah. Snowflake Sills. Sure.
Lamar lost to Gardner.
Hey, you want me to end that immediately? Go Trump.
Hey, speaking of that,
sorry, Betty.
My prediction game has been on point. I think I'm 6-1 in Eagle predictions this year, and I predicted the Trump victory. Done. I'm in rare form right now when it comes to predictions.
Hey, do you see Arizona and Nevada went to him?
Did it? I didn't even look at that.
312 and 312 in whatchamacallit now. Okay.
Holy shit. So
give me some more supers. Lamar lost to Gardner Minshew, and you lost to Drew Lock.
Yeah, Jarrell, you're opening yourself up, man. Jarrell,
Zach Wilson.
Remember, Jarrell, when you send the right hook, you got to protect the face, my guy.
Baker Mayfield first.
You can't open yourself up too much, Jarrell, when you're tossing hooks. Somebody's going to sleep you. I mean, we did lose to Tyrod Taylor last year, Jarrell.
And you lost to Baker Mayfield this year.
And in the playoffs. Shit, when it matters most.
Yeah, last 8 quarters, that guy's owned the Eagles.
Snowflake Sills.
Corral.
Start it up, everybody.
Yeah.
I need like 100 chats in a row of Snowflake. Everybody drop it in the chat.
If you like Snowflake Sills, hit the like button.
Yeah, drop it in the chat. We need Snowflake Sills going
Come on,
crazy.
Sills. Josh Allen and Lamar will never sniff a Super Bowl. Not with Mahomes in there. No, it's
Anthony Wilson checks in.
Well, let me ask you this here for a second.
So.
Hang on. Jalen has 10 TDs, 9 Sills on pace for. He's got pace for 22 passing TDs. Get this, Lamar's got 20 now. Nice job, Anthony. Nice. Anthony goes, he's going to have 22. And Lamar's got 20 now.
Look at all this Snowflake Sills is coming in. Next time when you guys disagree with Sills, look at how much he's flustered over there. He's rattled.
I like it.
He's rattled.
Rattled. Yeah, that looks like me. Rattled. Hey, Sue, where are you?
Snowing in the chat.
Hey, Sue. You know what, Sue? You're close to getting a sandwich comment.
Can't believe we have to rely on Kamala Hurts.
Brian, I love you, brother.
Brian's hilarious. Dude, Brian even had John McMullen laughing this morning with his super chats.
Kamala Hurts. Oh, my God.
Holy shit, Jarrell. Can't even get through all these. Jalen will outplay Lamar. We already got that. Sileo wants the Eagles to have Jeff Toretta.
Hey. Oh, my God.
Elite Hurts is sweeping the East.
Elite Hurts. Holy
Baltimore ain't stopping Jalen and Barkley in 3 weeks.
Okay. Yeah. Who's stopping? Let me ask you something. Who's stopping Henry? No comment, Xander?
N'Kobe.
I can't wait to see that guy run into him.
Hey, N'Kobe, I like the way you're playing, but be careful against Derrick Henry. He'll fucking run you over.
N'Kobe, if I were you, get low.
Ready? Look at this one. Devontae. What's up, Devontae? I told you, he's got the best spelling of Devontae. He said, I couldn't imagine a road trip with Xander, Sills, and J-Mac. The amount of arguing you'd hear from Sills and J-Mac would be top tier. Yeah, as long as I'm driving, I'll take it. I'm a drive kind of guy. I don't get in the car if I'm not driving.
But the problem is, John is easy to trigger, and I'll tell you why he's easy to trigger. All you have to do is go, you don't know what you're talking about.
Well, no, John does. Yeah, John does believe that his opinion is fact and the only one. That's correct.
No, it's like one of the Beatitudes that were written by Martin Luther, and you hung them on the door. That's what he thinks his stuff is.
Yeah, right. I still love him.
I do too, man.
I already got that. I guarantee you, Sirianni will make sure Cowboys cover. That's not a bad take.
Harv. That's a great one.
It's a great take. Hello, Mr. George. That guy, Mr. Perez, is not no good. I don't know what the heck you're saying there, Prince. That was a Sileo-esque super chat, dude. I mean, he can barely read proper English. You want him to try and read that? Holy shit.
Look at this. I'm getting hammered over here. I didn't do anything. What are you fucking doing here? Come on now.
Oh, dude, you came at my quarterback on my team. What do you want me to do? Sit here and take it? Jesus criminy, dude. Michael Robinson. I mean, you want to give it, you can't take it. It's unbelievable. Michael Robinson. I refuse to believe we are legit until we play
what's
Washington.
This here, man? Wait.
Can't even get it out.
It's my quarterback. Who's this guy? Fucking T.O.? It's my quarterback. Xander's T.O. It's my quarterback.
Lucius says Hurts will end the year with 36 passing TDs.
Yeah, hey, Lucius. He'll end 36 touchdowns, maybe total. Okay?
Yeah, Lucius, that's not happening, my dude. That's like 3 touchdowns a game for the rest of the year.
Ever.
Well, we have 9 games left. Yeah,
Dude, he's got 10 TD passes.
yeah. That means you need to have 3 a game. No way.
So in the second half, he's got to throw
It's not
for
his game.
26.
It's not his game.
Not his game, really? It's not his game. I know it's not his game. He's not.
He might have 37 tush-push touchdowns.
Yeah.
Michael
Yeah.
Robinson. Sorry, Michael. I mean, the guy sends $10 of his hard-earned money, and I can't even read it because Sills won't shut up. I refuse to believe we are legit until we play Washington and Baltimore. Barkley is covering up Jalen's inability to see the field in the passing game.
That is
Watson is too good to get 1 catch a game.
There it is. That is right there.
Michael,
The
thanks for the
super
10.
chat of the day.
Michael, thanks for the 10. Dotson sucks, dude. Stop. Stop.
Michael, that is right there. That is the super chat of the day.
Now, you know what? I've already figured Michael
You're an
out.
MVP.
Michael, I love you, but you're a Penn State guy, clearly, because Jahan Dotson sucks. In fact, Washington moved on from him and made Olamide Zaccheaus their wide receiver number 2 after drafting him in the first round because he sucks. He's not a good player. I'm sorry. It was a shit trade by Howie. He's not a good player. I'm not putting that on Hurts. Made 1 good catch, and Michael wants to proclaim him to be the next A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith. Josh Herman checks in. I was only saying when you watch them play, Detroit beats bad teams convincingly, and we don't, and that's how you grade teams based on the schedule. No. I mean, Josh, who are you going off? We had 1 tight game with the Jags. We destroyed the Giants, and we destroyed the Bengals.
How close was that? How close was that Browns game? I forgot. 4 points?
Oh, the team that just beat the Ravens? Yeah, it was a close game.
Wait. How about the win you had against Atlanta? You lose that one. How close was the New Orleans game? I forgot that one. You played a close game in every single freaking game, actually, except the Bengal game.
And Giants.
Okay. And Giants.
All right. Well, you just told me you don't care the Steelers beat the Ravens because it was a divisional game. Well, we destroyed the New York Giants. That's a divisional game.
You know that Olamide guy? He's on pace for 500 receiving yards because of Jaden Daniels.
Is it Olamide? I know him well. He went to my high school. He was a grade above me. And there's a thing called Kairos at my high school. He was in my brother's Kairos group. He's a great dude. I loved him because of St. Joe's Prep. I thought he
has a quarterback that's elevating his game. That's why.
Well, that's fair. All right. That's fair. He's also number 2 there.
Is he? He's the number 2 there behind Terry
They traded Dotson.
Okay.
Who do they have?
I thought he was the 3 guy there. That's not good then. That's not. Hey, that's your number 2? That's not. Yeah, that's not. He's on pace for like 470 or something like that.
They got Noah Brown, I guess.
Oof. Well, hey, so wait a minute here. So Jaden Daniels has and 1 guy who's. Let me take a look at this for a second.
Oh, yeah. I just gave Sills unlimited ammo.
God, look at this. So here's Jaden Daniels. This is who he has in his backfield compared to what Hurts has. So Jaden Daniels has Brian Robinson running the – and the second leading rusher is Jaden Daniels. So let me go here. Jaden Daniels is on pace right now for 17 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in his rookie year and 3674, almost the same exact number of yards that Hurts is having, and he's got a higher completion percentage. Fast forward, let's do the dual threat. Jaden Daniels.
How many touchdowns does Jaden have in the air?
Is on pace for, check this out. This guy's on pace for 838 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns. Come on, dog. Who's playing better in the first 8? Jaden Daniels.
I know, but you do pick and choose. Jaden Daniels has 9 touchdown passes with 500 rushing yards.
Oh, Jaden Daniels has more passing yards than Hurts and more TDs right now.
He's got an extra game. He's got 200 more passing yards.
He's a fucking rookie.
I don't give a shit.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. So let me tell you this. Let me ask you one thing. If you're going to build your team around one guy, you're going to build it around Hurts or him?
Inconclusive.
I do want to see more from the kid, too, because you see C.J. Stroud struggling a little bit more without Nico Collins.
Yeah, C.J. Stroud needs to get it.
He's struggling a little bit right now without Nico.
Yeah.
But you know what, too, man? Remember something, too, Xander, about this kid, Jaden Daniels. Okay? Remember, he's a 50-year kid or a 60-year guy And
Yeah, dude was in college for
yeah, like the GI Bill and shit, because
decades,
he was
yeah.
at Arizona State for 3 years with Herm. That's a guy I got to get on.
And Jalen has 10 passing touchdowns and 17. He's got 130 less passing yards in one less game and more passing touchdowns.
And that guy's in first place right now and in the 2-hole in the playoffs. If they were to start right now, the Commanders are in the 2-hole right now. How you doing? And you're a wild card.
Okay, good. Talk to me after we
Wait a minute. A rookie is taking his team as predicted by Big Sills. And right now, they're the leading horse right now in the race for the NFC East.
That's an interesting thing to say when you're 9 games deep. I mean, come on.
Well, you told me they weren't going to do dick this year.
No, I didn't. No, I did not. No, I did not.
You said that's a horrible take.
No, I pull up the
You
tape.
didn't say that Washington was a horrible take.
I did not say that was a horrible. I said it's a good take, and I like Jaden Daniels. I did not expect him to win the NFC East, and I expected them to be a better team. I'm not crowning them off 9 games like you. I've now learned a lot about you. You have a propensity to crown people after 9 games, except for the Birds.
I'm not crowning them like I'm not crowning the Birds. But my prediction this year was Detroit's going to win the Super Bowl.
Listen to this dude talk about the Commanders. It's like they've been the greatest dynasty for the last 10 years.
I told you yesterday I want to see him against Pittsburgh. I want to see him against a team.
James Jones. He also went toe-to-toe with Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes.
Danny Dimes.
They barely squeaked by the Giants. We blew them off the page, and you don't want to give us any credit for it.
Oh, I know. And you barely squeaked by the JAKIB Wires. And you barely speak by Deshaun Watson, who
you're
today.
Not blaming the Jags game on Jalen, though.
Are you? I don't know. How come it was a 1-point possession? What happened to the offense in the second half?
Well, they had a punt one time. Nick Sirianni doesn't want. He wants to leave a touchdown worth of points off the board. I mean, come on. Jalen's not making those decisions.
Excuse machines.
I'm upset that the game was close versus the JAKIB Wires.
How about the Browns game? Why was that thing close?
It was close.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's close football. It's the NFL. What do you think this is?
And you lose to the Falcons?
ACC?
You lose to the Falcons. He just gave me a shot in the fucking head right now. You see that? He just threw it. He just gave me a shot.
The shitty-ass ACC. Who the hell wants to play in the ACC?
I left it because I thought it sucked.
Big Sills cried about the Florida guys leaving. Yeah, no wonder. You're in the ACC, dude. Nobody wants to play in the ACC.
Xander, I left the ACC because I thought it was shitty.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, let's keep rolling.
Do we have any more super chats?
Yes, we got a bunch more. We're in the weeds. Anthony says they have over 550 yards from the tight end position in 8 games. I mean, come on, guys. What are you expecting? That's an 1,100-yard pace. Anthony, you think Dallas Goedert's living up to the expectation and the hype with him?
Dude, that guy is not reliable. Nobody said anything ever about Goedert's talent. He's not reliable. He's not reliable. Dallas Goedert's got 550 yards receiving.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
From the tight end position.
Dallas got wait. To answer Anthony's question, because I actually want to give him a good answer. Okay, you're right. It's a solid pace for the tight end room as a whole. But just accept that Dallas Goedert's an overpaid schmuck.
It's a terrible take. I'll tell you why.
No, it's not. Well, he's talking about the room. Dallas Goedert is 25th in the NFL in tight ends and receiving yards.
Now add the other component.
What other component?
$15 million.
Exactly.
Okay.
He's 25th in the NFL, dude. That's brutal.
Anthony, don't you think you could take that $15 million and spread it out across another position, maybe a safety,
15
linebacker,
yards. He's
an edge rusher, or what have you? Think about the dead fucking money, Anthony, you're spending on. You're spending shit money on Bradbury. You're spending shit money on Huff, and you're spending shit money on Goddard.
He's 15th, by the way. 15th.
Look at this, Xander. $15 million on Goddard, $11 million on Bradbury, and $17 million on Huff. That's $43 million of non-productive players. Bradbury, Huff, and Goddard. Do you think that's worth $43 million?
Schnufflepuff.
Come on, Anthony. Blow that out of your rear end with a shitty take.
Run the ball with Harv checks in. Run the ball with Barkley and Shipley. Use play action to open the middle of the field and take shots. It's not complicated. This is my opinion. I agree with your opinion, Harv.
Yes. I heard your take this morning. You want more Shipley and you want more Kenny Gainwell.
No, I just wonder if they should, man.
You're right. They should.
I mean, think about how, and you just told me, we talked about it in the beginning of the segment. Think about how good Saquon's been in the beginning of the year. Don't we want that in the playoffs?
Yeah. You're concerned that he's playing his best ball now.
Yes. Yep. By no fault of his own.
None. Nope.
That's the fear. Yes.
Hey, by the way, if you can get out of that Dallas game and you can get you know what I would love to do and I'd like to see in that Dallas game, Xander? I'd like to see the Eagles get up 21-0 and just run that ball and just like get Gainwell in there.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get Hurts out of that game in mid-third quarter, you're in good shape.
Not so much Hurts. The guy, let him, he doesn't have to throw it or take hits. I just don't want that kid Barkley.
That's true. Barkley, get him out.
You could protect the quarterback more than you can protect that back.
That's very true. Very
true.
Just
turn it around, hand it, throw intermediate passes. You don't have to really.
You're right. I digress.
Once you get 21 points, Xander, you don't have to beat the team by 50 points. Now, wait a minute. I forgot. Now, again, if it comes down to same record, point differential is something in the NFC. They have to play. They have to still play 60 minutes, and it's an NFC East game. So what really sucks about these two, you've got two NFC East games, and they're in a short work week. Get this, Washington can afford to lose that Steeler game. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's not an NFC game. They can afford.
And then when they're not at the top of the NFC East, are you still gonna?
No, what they're gonna do is this is how it goes. Whoever has the best record, then it goes into division record, then it goes conference record.
Right.
If I lose to the Steelers, who gives a shit? If I beat you and the records are tied, I get the tiebreaker because I have a better record in the NFC.
Interesting of you to assume that we have another loss on the schedule.
Easy. That's easily going to happen.
I'm kidding. Harv says, until I see Sirianni step back for good, I will never have faith they'll blow teams out. I'm all right with that take.
That's why the Cowboy game, Harv will be close.
Might be right. Josh Herman checks in. Josh, appreciate it. In terms of the schedule and playing bad teams, Detroit kills bad teams. We beat them by 5. That's how you measure a team based on schedule. Agree?
No. I take the eyeball test and I look at how you're playing. And what I like about the Eagles and what they're playing, they look the same week in and week out now. Okay, that's the only thing that I'm liking what I'm seeing. The opponents that you're playing, and you're not playing up and down like you did a year ago. You're playing more like you do every week, and it looks the same. Yeah, because they took the ball out of the quarterback's hands. They're running the ball more, and he's more effective throwing the ball this way. You're getting more one-on-one. Get this. Would you rather have Jalen Hurts with wide receivers with single coverage, or would you rather have him drop back 37 times and have him throw in a double coverage like they did in that Seattle game? Remember when Devontae was wide open underneath and they threw into double coverage to AJ on the perimeter on the sidelines? And he sat there and you go, why don't you take the easier throw? That I don't want him doing. I want single coverage on the wide receivers. And to me, that's kind of why they look the same week in and week out. I'm kind of liking it. By the way, I thought Vic brought a great point up, and I pointed it out earlier. One of the reasons why you can get away with guys like Zack Baun and Nakobe Dean, the fullback's no longer a part of the NFL, and they can be smaller now. Back in the day, those guys were 6'2", 275 pounds.
Right.
It's more played in space today, and you don't have that fullback any longer.
Yeah, don't tell the 49er fans that one.
Well, do you notice the two teams that are really dominant with that are the 49ers and the Ravens?
Yeah, it's true. Prince says that's a weak argument, Sills. I think he was talking about the running back debate we had early. C-Mac is the 49ers offense, but they struggle to perform without Purdy. I mean, it's quarterback league, Sills.
No, they struggle without Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is the engine that runs that offense. Just like I think that Barkley is the engine that runs that thing too, because it creates play action.
Can I just remind you that you're talking to a fan base that absolutely obliterated the 49ers because Purdy was knocked out of the game.
Okay.
They had Christian McCaffrey in that game.
Okay.
Okay.
I
We beat them like 38-3 or whatever it
But
was.
they had no
38-7.
viable guy to go in there and play. They had Josh Johnson.
Okay, we don't either. You think Pickett's viable?
Okay,
Dude needs gloves to throw a football.
like I said,
Anybody that needs to put on a
you know what
fucking
was
sticky
crazy
glove.
about that game? What's funny?
If you don't got hands that can grip a football,
I
you're
get
not
the
an
score.
NFL quarterback.
You only had 269 yards in total offense in that game that you beat the 49ers. You had great field position because they turned it over because of the shitty quarterback play. It wasn't because you dominated them at the point of attack. You only had 269 yards in offense in that game against the 49ers in that NFC title game.
You missed.
You're making it sound like you had 500 yards against them and you ran the ball down their throat. That's not true.
That's not what I'm making it sound like. I'm making it sound like the quarterback is always the most important player on the field. I don't give a shit who you are.
Okay. Like I said, that team, because of Barkley and how great he's playing, I think you can get away with it. And in an NFC title game, no.
Okay, for those that missed it,
in a Dallas Cowboy game,
talking about.
No, you're right. Wait a minute. You're right. Wait a minute. In a Dallas Cowboy game or a Jaguar game, yeah, you can get away with that. In an NFC title game versus a team playing for the NFC title, no, you can't get away with your quarterback being
okay.
out.
But all right, because people missed it. So, Jack, people in the chat who don't know what we're talking about. Early in the show, Sills asked me, "Who's the one player you cannot lose on this team?" And I said, "Is Jalen Hurts included?" And I said, "Jalen Hurts." He said Saquon Barkley. We proceeded to debate that was a bullshit take by Big Sills.
Yeah, no. Well, my take is you can beat the so you don't think you can beat the Cowboys with a backup quarterback this weekend?
I think our chances would be drastically smaller.
I didn't ask you that. I asked you, do you think you can beat the Dallas Cowboys?
I mean, we won a Super Bowl with a backup. Sure, you can win a game.
Okay. Do you think you're going to win a game, an NFC Championship game, without Saquon Barkley in the backfield?
We did 2 years ago.
You had a 1,300-yard back in the backfield with.
Oh, so now Miles Sanders is as good as Saquon because
I didn't say that. He had 1,300. He's third all time in a single season run. He had 1,300 rushing yards.
Okay, good. Doesn't that point to how good our offensive line is and that you don't need Saquon Barkley or he's not?
You have to have a viable guy back. Are you trying to diminish his fucking running that he had that year?
Miles Sanders, dude, the dude sucked. He didn't, dude, great. He had 1,300 yards in the regular season. We didn't even play him in the Super Bowl.
You really think if you lose Barkley, Kenny Gainwell is going to frighten teams on play action?
I didn't say that. I said we can overcome it.
No way. He can't overcome losing a wideout.
Miles Sanders was highly overrated.
That guy loses A.J. Brown. You know what he looks like? He looks like Tyrod Taylor.
Okay, you're shifting it now. Talking about Saquon and Jalen.
All right.
Miles Sanders is no Saquon Barkley. I don't give a shit who thinks otherwise.
No, I'm not. I didn't say he was. He had 1,300 rushing yards and 11 touchdowns that year. You make it sound like
because our offensive line
third all time.
Because of
who fucking cares? He still had it. He did that,
dude. The point is that you
wait a minute.
Make up with it because you have a great offensive line.
You think Kenny Gainwell can overcome that if Barkley goes out and puts? You think he could rush for $2,000?
I didn't say that. Nor do you.
You think that guy can rush for 1,300 yards at least?
Well, you know what he's averaging per rush right now? Kenny Gainwell.
No idea.
4.5 yards a carry.
It's your offensive line. That guy is good enough. If Barkley goes down, that guy's going to be good enough to help your play action.
That's not what I said, or that's not what you asked. You asked who is more important. Who can you not replace?
Who's been the MVP in the first 8 games? Your fucking shitty quarterback or your running back?
But that's again. You're switching the question.
Honestly, the guy has carried the entire. Even they've shifted in the mentality of how they play the game offensively. They're throwing it less.
Saquon's not more important than the
Eagles. Folks, guess what people have done offensively, even the coaches? They're taking the passing attempts down because the guy's so good.
Okay, so you really believe that Saquon's more important to our team than Jalen Hurts is?
I think in a regular season, with all these shitty teams you've played, I still think you'd have the same record if Hurts was handing the if throwing the ball 14 times a game, turning around and handing to a guy who had 200 yards rushing. Come on, man. I mean, come on. Then again, you're right. They probably need Hurts because you can barely beat the Jags.
The Jaguars.
The Jaggy Wires.
Harv checked in.
Are
Harv,
we?
what's
Go
up?
ahead.
We
Go
got
ahead.
a couple more. 2 more, I think. 1 more. It's so obvious this team runs through Barkley first and foremost. Hurts has better efficiency because of the effectiveness of the run game, full stop.
It's another great take there. Thank you, Harv. Way to go, brother. Don't worry, Harv. I'll come back to Big Sills.
Harv, love you, man. Brian says, Bus Davis and Bryce Snuffleupagus?
Yes.
Is that what he's saying?
Yeah.
Snuffleupagus? Are the epitome of mid. And get a dude named Kenny Gainless off my precious team. I can't stand 4 bums.
Kenny Gain. Hey, Brian. I hate
both
Kenny.
Kennys out of here.
Hey,
I like him. I don't have a problem with him.
Actually, he's not a bad. He's not
He's not
bad.
bad. Come on, man.
No,
He's not bad.
Not a bad back. He's not a bad back. No.
20 passing and 20 rushing touchdown. Never been done, Sills.
You can't wait. Yeah. If he has those numbers, this guy will be in a wheelchair by the first playoff game if that guy does that. Because if you look at it, hey, they're not running Lamar like they did when it comes to like red zone.
Right, well, wait a second.
No, red zone running.
Okay, fine. I agree. I agree on Lamar. Let's talk about another guy real quick.
Okay.
Let's talk about Jaden Daniels.
The rookie.
Right? The rookie. He has 82 carries for 459 yards.
More than Hurts. The carries, Hurts has 4 more carries, I think, or 5 more carries, maybe 6.
So similar carries, and Jaden has more yards. Is that sustainable?
Absolutely not. Well, let me see with his passing attempts. Let me see what he's projected on those passing attempts here. On what he has.
163 at 228. So he's.
See, here's the thing. Well, no, he's on the same pace with. He's having basically, if you think about it, I think Hurts is on pace for 454 passes. That resembles a little bit.
Hurts has 215 attempts. I mean, they're really close.
So, but Jalen is on pace to have a 2022 season. All those numbers, they look the same.
Yes.
They look almost.
Why I'm optimistic.
They look almost identical. And when you look at Jaden Daniels, he's having a 2022 Jalen Hurts. The only difference is this guy's more proficient in the air throwing touchdown passes because he has 17. Hurts had 21 that year in 22, I think, 21 or 22. This guy already has 17 touchdown passes. I mean, excuse me. He has 9 touchdown passes. He's on pace for 17. So he's kind of around that room. Jaden Daniels is playing like 22 Jalen Hurts. They are basically almost the same exact type of player.
Jalen Hurts is also playing like 22 Jalen Hurts.
Yes, but here's the difference. If I'm not mistaken, that 2021 season, his rookie year, I think Jalen threw for 3,100 yards and 19 touchdowns. And this is his first year. We're comparing a veteran of 5 years to a guy who's in his 8th game. So it's a little different here, bud.
No, you're right about that.
They still have the same. But I think you're talking more about skill set.
Yeah, I'm talking about the overall. I mean, you're right. I mean, look, he's playing unreal for a rookie. There's no doubt about that. He's playing tremendous. All right, we got him.
You think he's playing better this year than Stroud did a year ago?
I don't want to go there because they haven't really had the stiffest competition yet. I mean, Stroud did that in the AFC, and he went in the AFC playoffs. And I mean, who'd they lose to in the playoffs? Was it the Chiefs?
Yes, and he was also 62.9, I think, in completion percentage. This kid's 71.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, man.
Look,
I think they're both great players. I'm a little surprised with how good Jaden's been, but I want to see it hold up. I'm not going to lie to you. I want to see it hold up. I'm not taking credit away from him. The kid is playing great football, but let's see it. I mean, let's see it keep happening. I mean, teams are gonna figure him out a little bit more. That's going to happen.
Yep. Collapsed last year, no run game, 3 and outs, exposed defense. How can you argue? Hurts more important portals than Barkley. Hurts product of Barkley. He is a product of Barkley because you know why? You're getting single coverage on the perimeter now, and the passing lanes are open more.
No, Clary Voy's agreeing with you, I think.
Yeah, he is. That's right.
Well,
there's more single coverage
Clary
because
Boy, you're bending the question because you're talking about the running game.
The passing game is open more because of Barkley, dude.
No, the running game is different. I know it is. But you asked the question, what player can you not afford to lose?
Right, because get this. Hey, Clairvoy, if they lose Barkley, those single coverages are no longer going to be there, and Hurts is going to be back to throwing the ball.
Well, maybe that's true.
Times.
That's
okay. That's the key there, and the approach that I'm talking to more so than just the production.
Yeah, but he's talking. I mean, what he said, you can't just pull Barkley out of that equation. I mean, if you have a run game, Hurts is better. If you don't, he's not as good. Agreed with that. But can we overcome with Saquon being gone? I think more so than you could if Jalen was gone.
So the defensive coordinator.
All right, let me ask you this: if Jalen Hurts, and God forbid, I'll knock on wood because I don't want this to happen. You never want to see any injuries.
I don't want.
For the sake of the argument, if Jalen Hurts got hurt this weekend, you think they'd be in a worse position than if Saquon Barkley got hurt?
Yeah, because your coaching's awful and you couldn't overcome it there either. With Doug Peterson and with Frank, you can.
If Jalen Hurts gets hurt this weekend,
how come 17 they overcame it with the quarterback getting hurt? And you're telling me this staff couldn't overcome that?
I'm telling you, the O-line's elite.
This team couldn't overcome that?
Overcome what?
If you're a quarterback, your MVP candidate, as you say, he's an MVP candidate. Your MVP candidate went down at 17. Doug and Frank and Schwartz.
Well, we had a good backup.
You had a backup.
I don't believe Kenny Pickett can sniff Nick Foles' jockstrap.
So let me ask you. Let me take you back to your memory brain there. Did you really think you were going to win a Super Bowl after Wentz went down?
No. I was at Alabama at the time.
Here's the better question. Did you have a higher opinion of Nick than you did Kenny then?
No, but I think a lot of this is benefit of hindsight. But you watched Nick elevate to the moment. Do you believe Kenny Pickett can elevate?
No, and I'll tell you why I would have had more faith in Nick because of that 26-2 year he had.
I hated the Pickett trade when it happened, my friend. Remember when your show, it happened right before your show.
Yeah, I wanted Justin Fields.
Well, when we came on and we were on our pre-chat meeting and I'm talking and I'm like, Kenny, flick it. I hated the trade when they did it. He's a shit player. We didn't need him in Philly at all either. There was way better backups.
He's a Jersey guy. Why don't you like him? What, you got something against Jersey?
He needs a sticky glove to throw the football.
A sticky glove.
I don't even need that. Are you kidding me?
Jesus.
Dude's got Nick Sirianni hands.
What, little
and soft.
Little. Hey, Xander says that Nick Sirianni's handshake is like a fish.
It is. That's not like it was a fish. Jalen's was firm. I can trust Jalen.
True. I don't like.
You know who else was firm? Brandon Graham that night and Big Dom.
Hey, always remember, man. I never trust dudes that whisper. I never trust dudes that fucking give you a shitty handshake.
Funny you said that. My girlfriend says, you suck at whispering. We'll be in church or wherever we'll be, and I can't fucking whisper.
No, I'm talking about somebody just in a normal conversation. You know,
whispering.
I'm like, what'd you say?
I'm whispering.
I don't like anybody whispering, man. You whisper and you give me a shitty handshake and one of them little like really like, one of these kind of like handshakes. How you doing? I'll be like, kid, I'm not okay. We're out of here.
I thought I put Nick on the IR after that handshake. The fucking thing was a fish, and I grabbed like, oh shit.
I'm surprised you didn't break his wrist like
yeah.
Bryce
I thought it might have happened.
Maybe that's what Bryce Huff's wrist feels like.
Oh God.
Let me go, Xander. We got
Goodbye.
Mark Farzetta coming up here in a minute.
Goodbye, Sills. Great show. Yo, JAKIB Nation, thanks, everybody. Love all you guys, man. Great show. Again, thank you, everyone.
You got it. That's Xander Kraus. Don't forget to catch him out on Birds 365. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save at Southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore, have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Ben Sil's National Football Show. Hey, we're at 186 in likes. Please hit the like button. I'd like to get over 200. Let's try to get that bad puppy up to 250. Please hit the like button. Thank you guys again for coming aboard with us here as we get ready for a football weekend. Week 10 of the National Football League starts up tonight. It is Cincinnati and Baltimore. You got Joe Burrow versus Lamar Jackson tonight. Love it. All right? So we'll talk a little bit about that game. Also, we'll talk to Farzi about what he's seeing so far as well. Ravens blowout? I don't think so. I think that game's going to be a lot closer than what people think. An AFC North game will always be close, just like a divisional game, just like the game that you guys got that you're going to have to play on Sunday against the Dallas Cowboys. That's correct. Ronald goes, injuries are a part of football, and acknowledging that doesn't mean you wish anyone getting hurt. Absolutely not. Ronald, how I've always handled and covered when teams are talking about injuries, if somebody doesn't have their full weight of talented players on their roster, that's not an Eagle thing. Okay? That's not an Eagle thing. It's part of the game, like you say. Look at the 49ers and look at the Rams at the beginning of the season on what they've had to overcome and what they've had to do when it comes to their rosters. And that's why it's so hard to sit here. And then I know what a lot of you guys like to do. You're looking at your 6-2 record. Well, quite frankly, your 6-2 record is not an indicator of what your football roster is right now. It's absolutely not. Or, excuse me, on what it's going to be in a couple weeks. You have no idea. Every week could have something different because of injuries. I'll tell you what I do like. I like Brad Holmes going out and addressing the Aiden Hutchinson injury by going out and getting Zadarius Smith. Some would go like this, Sills, you're not saying that Zadarius Smith is covering Aiden Hutchinson's injury. I'm absolutely not saying that at all. But what they did was they made sure not to have that far of a cliff fall because Hutchinson's not going to be there. That was my case with Huff. Who are you replacing the production of Hassan Reddick this year with? Nolan Smith? That's not good enough. That's not good enough when it comes to replacing Hassan Reddick. You don't have an edge rusher this year that's going to get 10 or more sacks this season. Not one edge rusher, maybe you're going to have it with Josh Sweat. You might get it with Josh Sweat. Okay? AT, who else? Who else do you think you're going to get outside of Josh Sweat that potentially will have 10 sacks or more? In 22, you had 4 guys. Hey, you see this right here? That's what they did a year ago. Meant nothing. Meant nothing. Meant nothing. Carter will not have 10 sacks. And one, he's not an edge rusher. He'll be lucky to have 7 sacks this year, which is great. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have any problems with that. Sam, the Commanders have what? The 3rd place schedule in the division. Their record is just fraudulent as anyone could say ours is too. Sam, that's exactly what I'm saying, Sam. You're no better than them. That deleted mic'd up J-Mac referred, that's concerning, Sills. That quarterback is Mr. Butthead. Dude, let it roll out when they have to get into a game. Sills, I'll take Terry McLaurin. Go figure, we have a linebacker, but no edge. Now, let me ask you this one. Zack Baun. Should Howie sign him now? Or wait to the end of the year? Should you wait to the end of the year? Or should you sign Zack Baun? Wait. Now. Eagles aren't going to re-sign Baun. You could play Baun at edge. He's proven he's got the capability of doing that. He has. LJ's dead on. Do it now. You're going to get a cheap deal on his ass. He goes out in the open market. Let's say this. LJ. LJ, what would you offer him annually average? What would you offer him? 6? $6 million? That's cheap too, by the way. Yeah, this contract is up at the end of the year. LJ says 5 to 7. Okay. He's right. Somewhere in there. LJ, if they win the Super Bowl and he goes on the open market and free agency, how much money do you think he'll make? Let's hypothetically say this. The Eagles go to the Super Bowl and he win it. And he goes out in the open market. How much would a linebacker who was on a Super Bowl championship team, how much would he get? LJ, what would he get in the open market? 9 if he walks. Yeah, look at real. 8 to 10. That's right. So to LJ's point, you might be able to get that guy at $6.5 million annually for the next 2.5 years. Don't give him a 3-year deal. Give him 2 years with a team option. Give him an opportunity to earn more money and incentives. Dude, remember something. This guy was a special teams guy. This is going to be his first big-time contract. And get this, and he's only 27, which means this. He probably has one contract. If you sign him, to LJ's point, he's 27, right? Okay. That means this. If you sign him to a 3-year contract, it's 30. He's not getting another contract in Philly. Philly's not signing a 30-year-old linebacker and extending him. So if you're him, do you go in free agency? Because this is going to be your only real big contract you've ever made. I mean, so he's got to maximize this. Now, again, to LJ's point, you've got to look at it this way. Boy, the Eagles really like me. Okay? They like me a lot. I could stay here for the next, because Vic doesn't look like he's going anywhere. I could stay here for 6.5, make myself $13 million or make myself $20 million over the next 3 years at 6.5 and stay here and have more of a kind of a comfort zone, or I could go in the open market and sign a 3-year contract worth $25 million. Does that $5 or $6 million worth more to me to go out in the open market? Okay. Yeah, but LJ, I'm more talking about like the Eagles and their behavior. Are they going to do that? I agree with you. Okay, but will the Eagles sign a 30-year-old linebacker to a 2-year contract extension? And here's something else too, LJ. This guy hasn't had a lot of mileage on him. So the fact that he's 27, this guy hasn't played a ton of reps. So you might be looking at a guy who's 30, but not really a 30-year-old body. He's been a special teams guy. I think they need to be working on a contract for him because, hey, of all the 1-year deals, here, let's do this. Are you signing Milton Williams? Are you re-signing Milton Williams? Are you re-signing him? How much you giving him? 12? 13? Lorenzo, thanks for the super chats, guys. All super chats go to the top. By the way, Farzetta's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Why would Zach sign early during a career year? Okay, Lorenzo, to what LJ said. Well, here, you get an opportunity to be in a place, and you're in a place that likes you. He's not going to sign a guaranteed contract if he goes out in the open market. They could cut him at any time, and the only thing he'd be guaranteed is a signing bonus. Vic likes him. He's not going anywhere. That coordinator's going to be here for at least 2 more years. And you could make yourself $6.5 million and then $20 million over 3 years. Okay? And you're in a position where you got people that like you, they're developing you, and they've paid you. Now, you could take the gamble going on in the open market. What if you go to a place where the coach is on the hot seat? He gets fired, they bring a new coordinator, and they don't like you, and they fire you. You're out the rest of your money. Okay? I mean, that's kind of why you would give the hometown discount. Hey, sometimes the grass isn't greener on the other side, is my point. What did LJ say about Milton? Priced out for us at this point, unfortunately. I agree. I don't think Milton's re-signing here. I think Milton Williams is probably going to get somewhere between $14 and $15 million. And I do not believe the Eagles are going to offer that contract. Milton Williams is going to be a free agent at the end of this year. I wouldn't pick the contract extension up of Jordan Davis. Now, I don't know. I think Nakobe Dean has a contract. Are you picking up the contract extension of? No, he's a 3rd rounder. So you would have to sign him. Right? You would have to sign Nakobe. Are you giving Nakobe $10 million, $13 million? No, not 10. How much you paying Nakobe? He's a 3rd rounder, so you have to give him a contract. I'd pick up Davis's 5th year for 20 reps. Not me. No way. Okay? No way. Nakobe gets 5 max. So between the two linebackers, you're going to pay $6.5 million for Zack Baun and $5 million for Jakobi. Jakobi's going to want more. But I don't know how Jakobi has a leg to stand on because Zack Baun's outplayed him. So maybe 5.5. Hey, if I could get two linebackers for $11 or $12 million, that's not expensive. Seals, we need to get rid of Bus Davis and keep Milton. Not paying both LBs. Howie has to make a choice because we have a kid waiting, and you're talking Jeremiah Trotter, obviously. You know what, though? I'm not going to – I don't want to I don't want to keep getting on that conveyor belt, though, of redeveloping linebackers. You haven't replaced TJ Edwards yet. It looks like you have, but that took you 2 years. Are you bringing Sweat back? Are you bringing Sweat back? He's going to have 11 sacks. That knee injury always will make me nervous a little bit. Okay? Mitchell, I don't have to worry about. Gardner Johnson's gone because I have Sidney Brown waiting. Reed, I like. I might restructure his contract. What about Isaiah Rodgers? Got to replace Slay. Hey, by the way, do we all agree this is Slay's last year? Slay's last year, right? Right? Bring BG back? Would you bring BG back? Yeah, I'd offer him a contract if he wants to come back. I would. I'd offer him a contract. Okay? Yes. Micah Becton. What are you doing there? LJ, everyone. What are you doing there with Micah? You offered him a contract? By the way, this is going to be expensive. This is going to be expensive. He could command $17, $18 million. No way, 8.5. That's not happening. $8.5 million for a quality offensive lineman that could play guard and left tackle and right tackle for you. You need to up that about $10 million. Okay? $8.5 million? That ain't happening. These two guys are the best linebackers we've had since they make real run-stopping tackles. Nothing like Alex Baby Arm Singleton and Edwards tackles. No, nothing like that. But they're the best since they've had Kaiser White and TJ. Micah Becton, if I were to look at him right now in the open market, I would say that Micah Becton is probably a $15 million a year player. I agree with LJ. I agree completely with LJ. There's no way Micah Becton is going to stay in Philadelphia. Because, dude, if they go far and they have great success, Micah Becton is going. Hey, somebody do me a favor. I don't know. Maybe you know off the top of your head, LJ. How much money annually did Andre Dillard sign when he went to Tennessee? And Andre Dillard is not even remotely close of the player that Micah Becton is. What was it? 7 million, 8 million? And he stunk. And he stunk in Tennessee. As a matter of fact, they gave him that contract, and Here. Look at this here. Andre Dillard, Senor. Thank you, Senor. Think about this. Look at this. Andre Dillard, 3 years, $29 million contract with the Titans, including a $5.9 million signing bonus. $13 million of it was guaranteed for an annual salary of $9.6 million. So he got $30 million bucks. What do you think Micah Becton's going to get? So as Senor says, this is an average of $10 million a year. Becton's going to get $16 to $17 million. That guy's going to come in. Look at it right here. Look at this. Andre Dillard signed a contract, a 3-year deal for $30 million bucks. Micah Becton keeps playing the way he is. This guy's going to sign a contract that's going to pay him $17, $18 million. Howie ain't signing that guy. Now, here's the cool thing. You're developing Fred. You've got Trevor Keegan. The guy Stoutland is Philadelphia is an offensive line machine. I mean, no doubt about it, man. So this week is more like Paisan week. Cataldi on Monday. Espresso today. God, I love this guy, man. By the way, one thing I have learned about the Philly media, one thing I got to say, before I get Mark Farzetta on, Angelo came on our program and said this. And this is why I think Farzetta is not in that room with those guys. Can you imagine Mark Farzetta being in the room when Marcus Hayes gets slapped around and the Sixers go to all the people that were in the pit and tell them, please don't report on it? Farzy would go like this. Let me get my cappuccino here because I need jet fuel for this one. Hold on here. Let me get my jet fuel. I mean, that's for another day. I want to get my friend on here to talk a little birds here, but that was one of the biggest stories in Philadelphia that somehow has not been covered. 3-game suspension for Joel Embiid, and I know Farzi's covered it, but very few people have covered it, believe me. Our good friend Mark Farzetta joins us here. He starts our broadcast off here each and every single Monday. There it is. Look at that.
There we go. Oh, are we on?
Hey, wait. How many
Fuel?
cubes? How many cubes of sugar do you drop in there?
What am I, French? Cubes of sugar? Come on. Black, my friend. Black. With a nice pull of creme on top. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
See,
now.
I'm more like The Freshman, the movie, where the guy goes like this and he's just pouring it in here.
Yeah.
He's just pouring it. My favorite scene in that, too, he goes, that wouldn't happen to be a picture of Mussolini, would it? It ain't Tony Bennett. It ain't Tony Bennett.
Oh, good Lord. No, the whole Embiid thing, first off, good to see you. Embiid, I've known Marcus Hayes for a long time. And Marcus Hayes suffers zero fools. And people think he's just throwing stuff against the wall, This is how Marcus really thinks.
No, that's what I do, but not him. Again, yes.
Right, yeah. But Marcus, there was one part, and I was at the park the other day with my daughter, and a dad came up to me, and he was just like, so, what do you think of that whole Marcus Hayes thing? And I don't really know this guy. I literally just met him. But I told him this story, and I'll tell you because I think it's entertaining. There was one part of the story I laughed out loud at. And it's when Embiid and Marcus are going back and forth. And Embiid says something along the lines of, I don't even care what reporters write or say anyway. And then I could just hear, I could hear Marcus going, but you do. And when I read that quote, I could just hear him flatlining, but you do. And then I think that's when the shove actually happened. Look, you could debate. I didn't like it when it was brought up about Nick Sirianni using his kids as a human shield. If I'm Nick Sirianni, I take exception to that. I call out that idea because I know it was said by a bunch of people. If you're a father and somebody says you're using your kids in anything but love and affection, then we're going to have a problem. If Marcus Hayes wants to write about Joel Embiid talking about his dead brother or talking about his naming his son after his brother and trying to play in a way that honors his son, in a way that his son will be proud of and all that, well, then it has to be put, I think, in a positive light. But then it falls into the frame of, even if you're quoting me, if you invoke me talking about my family, that's still you talking about my family. So I can talk about it. You can't talk about it. That's where I think you could debate whether or not the line was crossed. But as far as anything physical, a shove, yeah, you bet your ass I would not keep my mouth shut about it. And second of all, you don't put your hands on somebody unless you're expecting hands in return.
That's right. Well, and I'm not like you here, Mark. I'm not defending what Marcus wrote. What I'm defending is, why do you care? You make $55 million a year. Some guy writes, it's like that Cowboy guy that came out of the locker room and confronted that guy, that media guy, because he posted something stupid and shitty on Twitter. And I'm like, dude, you're making $14 million a year. Why do you care what we really say? Are you kidding me? We are like a box of rocks. But sometimes, again, and this goes to the mature factor of Joel Embiid being a baby like Angelo and I talked. And I'm like, Huss, this is the leadership stuff that people talk about. You've got to control yourself because you are a professional athlete. The media is going to goat you into thinking that you're their friends or what have. They're not your friends. Yeah. Bro, they cover you for a reason. You know why? Reaction. They want a reaction out of you. Covering a game. Mark, the most boring thing on the planet. No disrespect to people that do some of this stuff. Joel Embiid on a dunk. Joel Embiid back on defense. Joel Embiid. Hey, Joel Embiid pushed me. Huh? What was that? Joel Embiid's really not really a strong character guy. Why do you say that? We're more now on the perimeter and the fringe of covering athletes than we are about the nuts and bolts. People don't care about nuts and bolts of the sports world any longer. So athletes have to know that look, there's a line. They're going to cross it. You can't, because you know why? It's no win. But for the Sixers to go around 97.5 and WIP and the Inquirers going around, and I talked to Marcus the other day. Marcus told me that the Inquirer told him that he couldn't come on the program because they wanted to settle everything. I saw today that he's still covering the Sixers, and they wanted to get through it. I sent a letter to my friend, Adam Silver. He and his wife went to school with me, and I've known Adam for 29 years. Wow. And I told Adam, I'm like, what are you planning on doing on this? And he goes, don't you think you stepped over the line? I go, who cares what was written? My problem is the reaction. The reaction is always the story, Mark.
Yeah, and if you're Joel Embiid, you say whatever you want. You air your rightful grievances. If that was me, I would feel like Joel Embiid felt. You don't put your hands on somebody else. That's where you. I mean, talk about crossing a line. There's words were happening, and then the line was crossed when you started pushing somebody. So that's to me where I think everything goes wrong. But along your lines of things get said, and you're an athlete, you should ignore it. I'm sure you're like the rest of America. You watched The Last Dance during pandemic, right? I'm sure
absolutely.
Yeah. One of the lines that has really stuck with me was, obviously there's a bunch by Jordan, but Dennis Rodman, of all people to stick with you, Dennis Rodman said, I'll play the game for free. They pay me to put up with the BS, which is everybody else talking about you, everybody else reading in anything you're doing on the court, people that aren't body language experts reading into your body language, and people saying whatever they damn well please about you. That's why you get paid. When Joel Embiid said, I've done too much for this city, I felt like Don Draper. That's what the money is for. You know what I mean? That's what the money is for. The city wants a championship. We haven't gotten that championship. And I hope that this is the year. Joel Embiid, fine. Play 55 games. As long as you're healthy in the playoffs and you lead this team to a championship, let's take some major step forward, because just making it out of the second round, that hasn't been the bar for quite some time. It's all about winning a championship now with a 31-year-old Joel Embiid.
I haven't talked to you in a bit, and we have so much to catch up on here. Do you think Nick Sirianni, in the first 8 games of the season, do you think that this will be the number one reason why the Philadelphia Eagles will not advance in the playoffs is because of the head coach and not the roster?
Yes. I mean, like going into the Giants game, and it ended up being a blowout, but going into the Giants game, I said, this game should be a blowout. I just have zero confidence that the coaching staff, Nick Sirianni, will be ready to put together a game plan that will, in fact, end in a blowout, and they did it. And I'm like, all right, now I'm starting to build a little confidence. And all right, they won that game. They blew them out. That's good. As we know, divisional games can be weird, as everyone always says. But then they go up against the Bengals, and they handle that one. Back-to-back 20-point wins for the Eagles. It's been quite some time since you'd seen that. And then they go up against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they're blowing the doors off the Jacksonville Jaguars. And all of a sudden, for some stupid reason, Nick Sirianni keeps on throwing up the old the Maloik. The Maloik. All right, good. You and I are on the same page.
Make sure you don't aim that at anybody, because my grandmother will tell you, man, that guy's doomed. When you do the Maloik, I always have to do it like this and control it and aim it over here because it's very dangerous.
Well, he goes Maloik up in the air there, and I'm like, oh, he's really going for 2 again? Wait, he's not going. The 4th and 3, when he didn't take the points, I didn't like, and I didn't like it when he did it against the Giants either, and ended up being a touchdown. This time it didn't work out. I still didn't like it because you have a chance to go up 13-0, and then you continuously go for 2-point conversions when it's not necessary by any means, and you have a chance to go up 17-0, and he doesn't take advantage of it. Like, at some point, you just have to go, okay, it ain't working today. Let me do the thing that I'm supposed to do as a coach, which is put my players in the best possible position to have success, and then I can walk away from it, and we can continue what should have been this blowout. And then you have the alleged fumble by Saquon Barkley that ends up being the scoop and score for the Jaguars. You have a couple of misplays defensively that end up in touchdowns, a scamper-in touchdown by Trevor Lawrence. And all of a sudden, before you blink, it's a close game. It shouldn't have been. The Eagles should have been in control. Nick Sirianni cost his team 9 points. I can't remember a time where just decisions. I mean, we could go back and we could look at horrible game plans that led to blowouts, obviously. But when you talk about just decisions made in game, 9 points, Sills. 9 points being cost by your head coach. And now going up against the Cowboys, there is no way the Eagles should lose this game. I know we'll talk about it, but there's no way the Eagles should lose this game. I find myself back to how I felt before that Giants game, which is, this roster is talented as hell. And you look at that win over the Jaguars, my takeaway after Nick Sirianni's a dope was, holy hell, this is one talented football team. You look at the plays being made, whether it was the no-look leap by Saquon Barkley, the catch in the end zone by Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson, for crying out loud, making a huge catch as well. Look how talented this football team is. They have to be this talented to overcome their head coach. That shouldn't be the thing. And because of that, I'm hoping it's still a blowout against the Cowboys, but because of the head coach, makes me a little nervous.
Absolutely. I had a debate today with Xander earlier and with everybody else, and I want to ask you this, and I think people are missing the point of the importance of Barkley. I said if there's one player on this football team that they can't go without, I said it's Barkley, and they go, even Hurts? And I said yes, and I'll tell you why. Because he has forced the hand of the offensive coordinator and the head coach to change their way of winning games by now taking less passes since the bye, running the ball more, and you're getting single coverage on the perimeter because of Barkley's dominance. I mean, I can't tell you how many more times that I said this, even in the Jags game and in the Cincinnati game. Why are you single covering A.J. Brown? Are you crazy? Well, that's because they were worried about Hurts' ability now to run. He's running more himself, had 14 carries this last game himself, and Barkley's dominance. He's on pace for $2,000. I mean, only Henry's having a better year. And so people are like, you can't win. I said, no, you can't win an NFC championship game without Jalen Hurts, but you can win the Cowboy game. You can win the Jags game by turning around and handing the ball off 14 times. I'm not saying you're going to win a Super Bowl without Barkley, without Hurts. But Mark, I'm telling you, that guy's impact on that football team has improved the quarterback's play. He's improved the way they're winning games now. He is more instrumental in how that team looks this year offensively than they did a year ago. And he is a massive upgrade from the two backs that were Pro Bowlers the last 2 years. So I say he's the most important player in that huddle.
I agree with you, and I wouldn't before the second half against the Jaguars. I would have said it would have been A.J. Brown because the offense is completely different with A.J. Brown, but not really having him, especially in the second half of this game against the Jaguars, it showed that Saquon Barkley is absolutely the security blanket of the quarterback. The only thing I would still disagree on a little bit is just the idea of Jalen Hurts just has to not turn the football over.
Yeah.
And he's a phenomenal quarterback. Going through the stretch that he went through, whatever it was, 24 turnovers in 20 games or something, that was ungodly. And I kept on saying, if he just corrects that mistake, if he stops playing hero ball, if he eats a sack, if he scrambles for a 3-yard gain or an 8-yard gain, whatever, if he throws the ball away, that's him not turning the football over. And much to my surprise, it has been a rather quick turnaround where all of a sudden you're talking about 5 games now without throwing an interception, 4 games without a turnover at all. Oddly enough, 4 straight wins as that's happened. But I was watching the 15-minute highlights that the NFL puts together. I watch that usually Tuesday or Wednesday after the game just to refresh my memory of everything that happened. And I still went back and I watched the no-look leap. I went back and I watched the 3rd and 17, 19-yard touchdown run to Saquon Barkley. And I found myself still in shock that Saquon Barkley is an Eagle, because I really did admire him at Penn State, and I still admired him when he was at the Giants, except for, of course, when he played against the Eagles. But he is such a fluid, graceful runner that nothing people use it all the time in baseball when they talk about defensive players that make it look effortless and he's not hustling. No, it's just effortless for him because that's how good he is. Saquon Barkley, it looks effortless, not staring at someone before you leap over them. Look like something a figure skater would do. It was that graceful and beautiful, quite frankly. And now this Eagles offense, most notably Lane Johnson, actually has really taken up for giving Saquon Barkley the damn football. And if you caught this, and this was fantastic, after that leap by Saquon Barkley, after that hurdle, Lane Johnson, I think it was Lane was mic'd up, I think it was by the Eagles, and he runs by Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts is just laughing. And Lane Johnson turns to Jalen Hurts, and he says, we have basically 2 superhumans on this team. We got Saquon, and we got you. That's a pretty dynamic thing, especially if you're an edge rusher, let's say, trying to read who's going to be keeping the football, whether or not Saquon is going to be taking that ball from Hurts or Hurts is going to be keeping that for himself. Imagine being on that edge there, Sills, trying to make that decision. But it has been fantastic to watch.
I got to tell you, man, I did not think that guy was that dude at all. And when he was in New York, and I think I've broached this with you before, when he was the 2nd pick, I said, never lived up to it. Not a chance in hell that guy's the 2nd pick. I'll say this to you, Mark. If that guy had been drafted in Philly and had played his entire career in Philly, that guy'd be in Canton. I mean, I can't believe how good he is. And I know he was talented at Penn State. And if you're Joe Schoen and you're John Mara and you're watching how that guy's playing, what an absolute sin you didn't put a football team around that guy, because he is some ball player. I was dead wrong. I didn't know that he'd bring that kind of impact, because I didn't realize how bad the Giants were. I mean, he makes you realize how bad the Giants were as a unit offensively, because the addition he's brought, I mean, he runs to contact. Now, he's had some goofy plays like not getting the first down. You could have got a couple more yards, and you could have maybe made that kick a little easier for Jake Elliott in the Jaguar game, maybe something like that. You missed a block on a sack. You dropped the ball in a game. But I'm not going to kill a guy when you're watching a guy play like that. Have you been surprised I mean, are you not surprised? I'm dead surprised that he's this good. I knew Derrick Henry. I know Derrick Henry was going to do that. I didn't know this guy was going to do that.
Not to be a complete dick, Sills, but I have been a huge fan, and I am the farthest thing from a Penn State fan. My brother's a Penn State guy. I was a Temple guy. My dad loves Penn State because of Joe Paterno and all that stuff, but I was never a Penn State guy, ever. But I just admired Saquon. I hate going individual, but I was an individual Saquon fan. And I thought if he got behind a halfway decent, you're talking about talent of a player, whether or not he's one of the greatest in the game. And then you're talking about guys that are actually the greatest, like guys that have the stats and the accomplishments. You haven't quite seen all of that from Saquon Barkley over an extended period of time. I think in his 2 to 3 years with the Philadelphia Eagles, fingers crossed, everything works out, healthy and all that, he's going to get a chance to show just how good he is. And even when he was with the Giants and watching him from afar, I thought I was watching one of the greatest running backs I've ever seen play the sport. For reference, I was young, really young, when Sanders was in his heyday, and I'd still take Barry, because I appreciate history and I respect it. But Saquon's one of the greatest running backs I have ever seen. And I am hoping 2 to 3 years, maybe a little more, if everything pans out perfectly with Saquon Barkley in Philadelphia, he's going to get a chance to show that on a very consistent basis. And I think him, Jeff Stoutland, the offensive line that's here now, will give him that opportunity. And so far, you're talking about a guy that's well on his way to setting career highs. You're talking about a guy in just carries alone is on pace for a career high by about 50, 40.
334. The most he's ever had is 296.
Yeah, that's a spicy meatball right there. That's a lot of carries.
Absolutely, too much parsley in there. Hey, are you concerned though about the work edge and the workload that he's getting? Because we're looking at a guy who's had 2 knee surgeries in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
He's not the 22-year-old kid that came out of Penn State, and he's got miles on him, and he had 900 carries when he was at Penn State. So we're talking about a guy. Now, look, he's playing with better players, and he looks like he found the fountain of like middle age along with Derrick Henry here. And you're looking at both guys having a renaissance. But are you concerned now a little bit about the workload?
That's funny. I brought this up this morning, as I think a lot of people would have. The word concern. I'm not concerned as much as I respect it, and that I know that sounds like semantics, but I'm not overly worried about it. This is something that the Eagles have to manage, and I think this is something that Saquon Barkley obviously understands as well. Whether it's him taking himself out of the game, or at least telling Nick Sirianni, yeah, take me out, let the young guys eat against the Giants, when he had a chance to get a career high in yards, which would have been amazing. But he said, no, let the young guys eat. So that's maybe 5-6 carries that he didn't get in that game. Then you talk about Saquon Barkley at his locker yesterday when he was asked about the workload and being on pace for 334 carries this season. And beyond that, not even including the touches. He's like, yeah, this is not a concern. I don't think he's concerned about it simply because he knows he can control it. And he also knows that at least right now, this offense is stacked. And there should be plenty of opportunities this season where you're not going to need Saquon to go bananas in the fourth quarter. And if you're up big in the late in the second or late in the first half even, and you want to give some carries to Kenny Gainwell in that instance, go for it. If you get into the fourth quarter and you're up 20 points again, hey, Will Shipley, come on down, friend. And I think Saquon, yes, he wants the big numbers. He knows the numbers are there for the taking, but I also think he knows that there are more runs waiting for him, like that 3rd and 17, than there are no-look leaps where he's got to break 3 or 4 different tackles on those runs. So I think that's something that Saquon understands, and I think he's cautious of it as well.
Couple last questions here for you, and I want to ask you here one thing about the coordinators here. Kellen Moore was brought in not to improve the run game. He was brought in to improve the passing game. And the only thing that's been improved this year has been the run game. I mean, the Eagles are 20th right now in passing. Now, I know that's got a lot to do, guys in and out of the lineup. Hurts has been now, the number that I like is like what you said, is like the non-turnovers. And he's at 71% in completion percentage, which means he's finding the open guys. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to temper everything, because the combined record since the break is 10-26 versus teams that aren't very good on defense. And I just want to temper that by going, hey, before you start saying that the passing game is coming around, because you're going to need that in the playoffs to have balance. There's really not a lot of balance now, especially when you're pulling back on the passing attempts. Can you win a Super Bowl with this style of play, with the amount of carries of 40 carries and limited passes between 15 and 20 attempts? Can you win a Super Bowl like that?
If Saquon Barkley's going off and your receivers, and your receivers are,
and your defense is improving.
I mean, we haven't even talked about it yet.
I know.
So how incredible has that been?
Great. It's crazy.
But he doesn't turn if he doesn't turn the football over, and like one of the things when we were talking about the 14 pass attempt game against the Giants, I went back and I looked at it. I think that's the 4th time in his career he only threw 14 passes or less in a start. And one of the instances was the 44-point performance the Eagles put up against the Detroit Lions after the flower power speech of Nick Sirianni. And I just was saying, wow, 14 passes by him, and you put up 44 points. Granted, that's not the Lions of today. That's the Lions of 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
But still, a 44-point performance, and your quarterback's only throwing the football 14 times. I bet there's not many times in the NFL where that's happened. But Jalen Hurts' ability to extend plays, Jalen Hurts' ability to run, and I think last year, I mean, if you're telling me you're watching Saquon or you're watching Jalen Hurts run this year versus last year, you can't tell me that he was healthy last year.
It's
night and day. Absolutely. So with his ability as a very mobile quarterback, I'm not going to say running, but mobile quarterback to do all those things, he can throw the ball 14 times and still kill you with 8 different passes in that game, especially when the guys catching the ball like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are as explosive. And you talk about a little check down to Saquon Barkley, and that's a guy that could obviously take it 30, 40 yards. But on the point of Jalen Hurts, as far as improving, I mentioned the fact that he's taken a sack. I've mentioned the fact that he's thrown the ball away. I've mentioned the fact that he's scrambled. He is doing something this year more so than I've ever seen him do. And it's not always working, but I think it's him learning how to do it. I have seen him look off the safety on a number of occasions. And there was one instance where it didn't work because I think he lost his focus. But the idea that he's at least trying that, I think, is a huge attempt to take a step forward for Jalen Hurts. You'll see him, and it was the interception against the Saints, the New Orleans Saints, that was picked up by Honey Badger there up the middle of the field. He was, because I watched it a number of times. I was like, oh, we probably telegraphed it again, and then he jumped the route. He's looking over to his left. He's looking to his left. He's looking to his left. Bang, comes back to the middle of the field and lets it rip. And I thought, I know it was picked. And yeah, sure, Devontae could have run a better route, but he doesn't do that. Jalen Hurts doesn't do that. He doesn't try to look off the safety. He has telegraphed more often than not. Even in his MVP caliber performances, he hasn't looked off the safety. To see him do that, to see him still continue to get better at people, that to me has been the giant leaps forward I've seen from Jalen Hurts' game. I don't know if it's Kellen Moore. I like to think that it is because he's the different voice. But it is something that I have seen him do more this year than any other point in his career.
I got 30 seconds. The defense. How shocked are you with the turnaround?
All right. If you would have told me you got a guy of Cooper DeJean's caliber at the trade deadline, I'm a happy guy because holy pots and pans, is he amazing. Him, Quaynell Mitchell. Like, what are we talking about? Sills, what are we talking about? We're talking about Howie Roseman that can't draft corners.
Yeah,
he's got 2. We're talking about Howie Roseman that doesn't know a good linebacker if it jumped up behind him and scared him, whatever. Jacoby Dean has taken steps forward this year. Zack Baun, if there is a brag of Vic Fangio, it is Zack Baun. He watched like 20 seconds of film on Zack Baun playing special teams and a little bit of outside linebacker and went, this guy can play. And now Zack Baun's playing like a Pro Bowler. And both those guys get interceptions against Jaguar. Absolutely incredible. And just on a side note, Vic Fangio has crazy dad energy, and I absolutely love it.
I hate his dad pants, but this guy's kicked ass, and he's been incredible. Farzy, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate it. There you go, brother.
One for you, buddy.
Hey, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. I love you for
back
doing
at you,
it.
bud.
Thank you so much, Farzy. Do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button. We so appreciate it. Thank you, guys, again. 2 to 6 tomorrow. Joe and Xander, love you guys. We'll see you on the flip side.